Mic check for the YouTube stream. Mic check for the YouTube stream. Mic check.
Okay, take two, folks. Good morning, everyone. My name is David Stinson. I'll be chairing today's Scarborough Committee of Adjustment hearing. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of zoning that apply to property matters, permissions to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, consent to sever property to create new lots. Land acknowledgement. We must acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and Haudenosaunee, and Wendat, in addition to many more diverse First Nations, including Inuit and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and Williams Treaties signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Committee of Adjustment hearings are conducted by hybrid, in-person, and remote online formats. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person. Others will participate online using WebEx platform. Meetings online are streamed at the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. Those who want to participate online and have registered in advance will be connected to their electronic device and will have the option of participating by video or audio, will be automatically muted upon online entry to WebEx. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by staff moderator. Please note, you must mute your device until you are called upon to speak. Those participating by video will be temporarily labeled as panelists when their item is called. During this time, your camera will be enabled and you will be visible during the 5 minutes of speaking. At all other times, your video will be disabled as a designated attendee. For in-person and online participants, the Committee of Adjustment will share presentations submitted within the written submission deadline. Those participating by WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or other panelist controls and will be removed if found doing so. Receiving a copy of a decision from the committee. Those in person who want to receive a copy of the decision by committee must fill out a decision request card, and those participating online must submit a written request for decisions by email. Please include your name, address, email address, because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the decision of this committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions, and only the applicant, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, or specified persons and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions. Hearing procedure. I will call each item today in the order listed on the agenda, except for consent deferral requests as determined by city staff. Making your submissions. Where an application is uncontested, the agent applicant may proceed with their presentation. When the committee does not require a presentation, the agent applicant can advise me, the chair, if they want to speak. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for their decision making. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. Any presentation or materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing, as members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When speaking to committee, identify yourself as 1, the applicant or agent, 2, your legal name, and 3, your address, and make remarks only to the application details. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee. The committee may decide to defer an application if substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Speakers in support or opposed to applications will be invited by the committee to speak. Committee members may ask questions of speakers after their presentation. When all speakers are finished and the applicant agent can rebut only issues raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken into committee for a decision where the committee members can speak. Before hearing the first item, I'd like to confirm the minutes of the last meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt the minutes of the last meeting?
Mr. Chair, I would like to move the minutes be adopted of April 9, 2025 as circulated.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Do I have a seconder?
I will second that motion.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. All those in favor? And the motion is carried. Are there any declarations of interest by panel or staff regarding agenda items? And that is a negative from all present. Are there any files to be closed?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and panel members. Yes, we have item number 2, municipal address of 3992 Ellesmere Road, and file number A0264/24SC. The applicant is requesting to withdraw and close this application in accordance with our refund policy. If you could kindly read the application purpose and outline the materials received before the committee for this item, and then we can have the applicant explain their rationale for their request.
Very good. Thank you, Deputy Treasurer.
And through you, Mr. Chair, I'll also note that there is a neighbor registered to speak in opposition for this application.
Correct. I was going to say yes. There is a speaker registered. Thank you for that. And in terms of the item number 2 for the 3992 Ellesmere Road, and the purpose being to alter the existing 2-story dwelling by constructing a 2nd-story addition to the northwest side of the dwelling with a rear deck and a new east side yard carport with a total of 3 dwelling units on the lot. Okay, do we have the applicant or agent here?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do have the agent online, and I will confirm with staff if we have the registered speaker in opposition. Staff, are they online? Okay. For the record, Mr. Chair, the resident at 6 Merrow Court who registered to speak in opposition is not on the line.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry, person online, are you the applicant or agent?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee. I'm the applicant.
Can we have your full name and address, please?
My name is Nusrat Jahan. Address, sorry, one second. Yeah. Danforth Avenue, 3400 Danforth Avenue, suite number 5, Scarborough.
Okay. I understand that you may be speaking to us regarding a withdrawal. Is that correct?
That's correct.
let me just look to the left and right here of committee. Does anybody wish a presentation from this person? Okay. I've canvassed the committee. We don't need a presentation. If we have any questions, can we come back to you?
Yes.
Okay, we've submitted a very thorough package, and we've gone through it. We spend hours, days before coming here, so we're gonna take this into committee right now.
And through the chair, just if the agent can explain on the record verbally their reason for withdrawing the application?
Okay, just subject to what the deputy treasurer said, can you give us a brief explanation of why you want this withdrawn and for us to consider closing it?
Right. So we received the latest zoning notice on October 2022 in 2024. And then immediately we applied for a minor variance application on November 4, 2024. At that point, we were not aware of the Ontario regulation 462/24, where there's no limit on FSI up to 3 dwelling units. And when we became aware of that regulation recently, we approached the staff that this variance on FSI gets automatically eliminated, and there would be so variance is not applicable or required anymore. And I also confirmed with the zoning examiner that yes, there's no more variance for this application or for this property, and review is complete and approved from zoning. But I was advised by committee staff to come to the committee and explain why these variance on FSI is no longer required.
That was very brief and concise, thank you. Any questions from committee? There are no questions. We're gonna go into committee now. Sit tight and we'll give you our answer, okay?
Okay.
Committee, you've heard what the applicants have to say. Does anybody have anything they'd like to table with respect to this application? Go ahead, Pete.
Thanks, Chair. I'm happy to move a motion to withdraw the application. The applicant made a good case that they believe they're in compliance with the zoning bylaw, so this is no longer a minor variance application. So I move that we withdraw and close the application.
We have tabled the motion to withdraw and close this application. Does anyone wish to second that motion? Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I will second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. We have a motion put forward and a seconded. All those in favor? And the motion is carried unanimously.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this was in respect, Deputy Treasurer, of files to be closed. I'm also going to ask now to the Deputy Treasurer, Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferrals?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we have 4 deferral requests for this morning's agenda as follows. Item number 1, municipal address of 46 Glen MUIR Drive, file number A0172/24SC. This is an applicant deferral request. Next, we have item number 5, municipal address of 44 ROLARK Drive, Units 1 and 6, file number A0037/25SC. This is a deferral request by the applicant. Subsequently, we have item number 10, municipal address of 1061 to 1053 Markham Road, Unit 904B, C and D, file number A0057/25SC. This is staff identified as an automatic deferral request due to improper notification, as a signed declaration affidavit and pictures were not provided by the applicant within the prescribed deadline. Lastly, we have item number 13, municipal address of 268B Kennedy Road, file number A0064/25SC. This is a deferral request from the applicant.
Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. Just to confirm, items 1, items 5, items 10, items 13.
That is correct.
Thank you. Moving to item 1 then. This is 46 MUIR Drive. The purpose of the application is to construct a new 2-story detached duplex with an integral garage with vehicular access from MUIR Drive, a front covered porch and walkway, a side north basement walkout, a side south deck and walkway, and a rear second-story balcony. The existing 1-story detached dwelling and detached garage will be demolished. For this matter, I'm also required to advise that there are 4 letters of objection, and there is community planning's refusal of variances 1 and 2.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll note for the record that there are no registered speakers for this item. We have the agent online, and I will also note for the record that a resident within the surrounding area at 50 Martindale Road has submitted correspondence requesting the application be removed from the agenda, as in their opinion, proper notice has not been provided and the notification signage is not visible or legible and should be posted at the street line of the road allowance. And as the site is a corner lot, they are of the opinion that 2 signs should be posted at the street line, one fronting Glen Muir and one fronting Bellamy Road South. Therefore, members are to decide if the application should also be deferred due to improper notification as per the Planning Act. And you can also make a note if the panel agrees that 2 signs should be posted in this case as requested by the neighbor.
Thank you, Deputy Treasurer, for that concise clarification. Do we have the agent online?
Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir. Can we have your full name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Fazan Akhtar, FA Engineering, and the address is 1237 Woodbine Avenue, M4C4E5, East York, Ontario.
Thank you. Just before you perhaps speak, I'm just going to look at the committee members. Will anybody want, even though this is being deferred, any information further? Just a question. You will. Okay, sir, I was canvassing, and I'm looking to my left now too, and we're good. We will have a question from one of the panel members. Can you tell us why, at your request, you're going to be asking for a deferral?
Yes, we're requesting a deferral to address some of the concerns from community planning. And yeah, the signage issue too, the next time we'll have it posted on both the sides, right? It is a corner lot, curb lot, so I'll request the homeowner to post it on both sides of the corner.
So if I understand you correctly, you're going to have further discussions with community planning, and you're prepared to do what the one person has communicated to us would prefer, which is a neighbor to have 2 signed notices on this lot because it's on a corner. You're willing to do that?
Yes, that's fine. We'll have that done for the next hearing.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to look over to Mr. Reed now. He's got a question.
Thanks, Chair. I just wanted to confirm that to that question of notification and signage, you did submit a sign declaration and affidavit, right? That you had posted
Yes.
sign for the required amount of time?
Yes, and we posted we sent the photographs as well of the posted sign, but I think the neighbors, they want it posted on both ends of the corner, right? So I'll that's not a problem. I'll have that posted on both sides there for the next hearing date.
Okay, understood. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Just want to check in. Mr. Howe, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the applicant, when you say you'll post it near the corner, you mean you will post near the street line. Is that correct?
Yeah, street line on both the sides, right? On the one that's facing Glen Muir and the one that's on the other street.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. Thank you, sir. Looking to my left, no questions. Right is good. We're going to go into committee, sir. Please sit tight. Just a look at the deputy treasurer, and there is nobody online. Okay. Okay, we're in committee now. Would anybody like to go ahead, Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Chair. I would move to defer this application to the next available hearing, subject to the condition that the applicant shall repost the required notices on the property at both sides of the lot within 6 feet of the street line, let's say, so that it's visible for the publics.
And through the chair, as part of that motion to Member Howe, do you want to include the reason for the deferral request as the applicant to consult with community planning and due to improper notification, or just to consult with community planning and make a for the record note that the signage should be posted at the street line and 2 signs at each fronting street?
I would make a motion for deferral due to discussion with community planning and a note that the signs shall be reposted based on what I said previously.
Thank you, Mr. Howe, for your clarity. Do we have anybody to second that? Oh, go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Thanks, Chair. I'm happy to second that, but I'd just like to add that the applicant did post correctly last time. I think that there's agreement on that, and I think the fact that they've offered to go above and beyond is a positive thing in terms of increasing the community's awareness of the application. So I'll second the motion by Mr. Howe.
Very good, sir. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Moving right along, unless the deputy treasurer tells me otherwise, I believe it's item 5. Okay, we're good. We're doing deferrals right now. Right. No. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for your indulgence, folks. We are at item 5, which is 44 ROLARK Drive, Unit 1 and 6. Purpose of the application is to permit day nursery use in Unit 1 and recreation use in Unit 6 of the existing one-story industrial building currently vacant. Do we have the applicant or agent with us? But before we get to that, I will note that there are 20 signatures of support, 1 letter of support, 20 signatures of support on a petition, 1 letter of support, and we have recommendations from community planning, and we also have information from strategic initiatives, policy and analysis, concern objective.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online, and we have no registered speakers for this item.
Thank you. Are you there online, sir?
Hello, good morning, members of the committee. My name is Shirin Rahimi from 930 East Mall, Etobicoke, Ontario, and today I will be speaking on behalf of the property owner located at 44 ROLARK Drive.
Thank you for your introduction. Just before you begin, because we are going to ask for some explanation here, I think we are going to have some questions from the committee, but please briefly describe to us why you would like this deferral, if you like.
Yes. So we have reviewed the staff report provided by the planning department, and we also had a preliminary discussion with the assigned planner. So we feel that an additional meeting with the planner would allow us to further clarify the intent of our proposal and explore the opportunities to address any outstanding concerns. We actually have set up a meeting for tomorrow with the planning department so we could present our case to them. And our goal is to work collaboratively with the city planning staff to gain their support for this application. And we believe that taking the time to do so will lead to a more constructive outcome.
Thank you for your conciseness and description of what's going on. Let me just look at committee for a minute. Ms. McCauley, do you have any questions? No? Okay. And nobody seems to have any questions. So if you just give us a moment, we'll take this into committee and we'll make our decision. Okay, we've heard from the applicant. We've read the files. Is there anyone who'd like to address this? Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to defer this application as requested by the applicant, and it would be deferred sine die to allow her opportunity to consult further with planning staff.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. I'm going to ask for a seconder. Go ahead, Mr.
second
Khan.
motion.
You will second it.
Yes.
So we have a motion by Ms. McCauley to defer, seconded by Mr. Khan. All those in favor? That is unanimous, and motion's carried to defer. Thank you. We'll move to item 10 because we're still in the phase of deferrals. Just your indulgence for a moment. I'm just having a little technical difficulty here. Thank you. Item 10, this is a matter with regards to a staff deferral request due to lack of notification. This is in regards to 1061-1053 Markham Road, Toronto. Purpose of the application is to convert Unit 904D, Unit 904C, Unit 904B to a cafe shop. For the existing 28-story commercial building, C, there will be no exterior alterations. And I do not have any indications of speakers, correspondence, recommendations, or conditions. Okay. Do we have the applicant or agent available?
Through you, Mr. Chair, as noted, this is a staff-identified automatic deferral due to improper notice, as the signed declaration affidavit and photos were not provided by the applicant to staff to fulfill notice requirements under the Planning Act. We do have the agent online and no registered speakers to this item.
Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. Agent, can you identify yourself with your full name and address, please?
Yes, my name is George Sidra, and my address is 189 Queen Street East, Cambridge, Ontario, N23BC2. In fact, I'm very, very saddened that this was deferred. And the reason for that is I did explain very clearly to the business owner what to do, and he did that back in on April 20th. It's very unfortunate that I was sick for a period of time, and I thought he did already communicate this the signed declaration with Mr. Hill, but unfortunately he did that only when Mr. Hill confirmed us that it's automatically now deferral. It is very unfortunate and very disheartening to see that a small email could have solved this issue. These people this is a huge problem for us now, because the landlord has been waiting for this for a long time. And there's been so much between the landlord and the business owner. And I don't know if we can even afford it, or we're going to end it up in the court. This is really a very unfortunate situation. And I just can assure you that this was posted on April 20th, because I do trust. I called the guy and I told him that the city staff will drive around and see the sign. And he did what he was told to do. But for the lack of the language, he probably was not aware that he has to sign and send the declaration. I'm taking full responsibility for this. But again, I am begging and imploring this honorable committee, if anything can be done for this, because I just don't, it's just very, very upsetting and very unfortunate situation. I can't, there is so much, this is, I don't want to speak about the integrity of the process, because there is so many people that can post a sign and take a picture, send it, and sign the declaration and remove it. The city has to do something. There is a lot of money paid for this, and the city should have done something to prove this. It's not waiting for someone to send them a piece of paper declaring something that might not even be right. I am really sorry for all this, speech, but I'm very upset and feel very unfortunate that this have happened, and I'm still taking full responsibility for this.
Okay, sir, thank you very much. I heard a couple things there. I heard that as the agent, you did instruct the applicant to take the correct steps, but that the applicant unfortunately did not do what you instructed them to do. But you are accepting responsibility, and you're also suggesting that, if I heard you correctly, that the city should overlook this slight issue in your view because what is at stake is progressing or proceeding, but there's nonetheless still this, you're not saying that this mistake didn't happen. Is that what I'm hearing?
What I'm saying here, if Mr. Hill has sent us an email saying that he had not received, I see there are 15 applications here. I'm pretty sure he received most of them. If he will look at who didn't and just send a small email, it could have alerted us and could have, gone a long way. We should treat each us like in a nice way. I don't know how much time that will cost him to do. If the business owner forgot, if I was sick, I am the applicant, by the way. So he just switched the applicant was supposed to take the picture and put it on the window. Not sorry, the business owner, not myself. But if this could happen, it could have prevented such a situation now from escalating to God knows where we're gonna go with this.
Okay, sir, thank you. Let's go to committee here. I'm going to go to Mr. Howe and then Ms. McCauley. They have questions. Okay, sir, for you.
Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Chair. To the applicant, did you or your client submit the declaration of signs or provide photo to the city staff at any time?
I did submit it just one day after the deadline.
Is that correct? Could the Deputy Treasury?
Through the chair, I believe it was 3 days after the deadline. The deadline was the 27th. We did not receive it by the 27th. We received it 3 days later. And for the record, staff do provide each applicant with a courtesy email outlining in bold and underlined, highlighted in yellow, what the deadline is to meet the Planning Act notice requirements, to post the signage, and the process of posting the signage and providing the signed declaration to staff, and what the potential consequences are of deferral if the Planning Act requirement of notice is not met.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. Sir, we're just going to hold on a minute. I want to go to Ms. McCauley now. Go ahead.
Thank you. And to the applicant, I understand your situation. Unfortunately, this application is not legally in front of us. Therefore, we cannot make a decision. We can defer it, and I'm going to ask staff whether we can defer this to the next meeting. Staff are indicating, yes, that is possible. So we'll see you back in 4 weeks' time, and make sure you got the sign on the property and have sent a copy of that to the staff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Ms. McCauley, for that idea and suggestion, and that's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so we're now in committee, sir. You're going to have to let us do our business. We've heard from the applicant. We've discussed the matter. Do I have a motion? Ms. McCauley?
I'll move deferral of this application to the next committee meeting.
Very good. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Chair. I second the motion.
Ms. McCauley moves to approve for withdrawal on this application. Mr. Howe seconded. All those in favor? Sorry, deferral. My apologies. Deferral. All those in favor? And that's unanimous to defer this matter. Thank you. We're going to now still be in the pool of deferrals. We're going to item 13. Item 13, 268B Kennedy Road, Toronto. Purpose of the application is to construct a new two-story ancillary building containing a garden suite, garage on the ground floor, and dwelling unit above, with a front porch in the rear yard of the lot containing the existing two-story detached main dwelling. Vehicular access to the parking space will be from Mewbourne Avenue. There will be a total of 2 dwelling units on the lot. This is a deferral at the request of the applicant. I will note from our paperwork that there are conditions from community planning, urban forestry services, and Metrolinx. There's also written correspondence, and that is 1 letter of objection. Okay. Deputy Treasurer, do we have anyone here in person today, or is this online?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent, I believe, online, and we have no registered speakers to this item.
Thank you. Agent, are you there?
Yes, good morning, committee. It's Peter Druzy from ARC Design Group, speaking on behalf of the owner.
Thank you, sir. And your address?
60 Thistledown Crescent, Whitby, Ontario.
Thank you very much. Just before you begin, I'm just going to look to see if anybody's going to want a full presentation. No. It doesn't appear that this committee requires a presentation based on what you've submitted, but would you like a few minutes to tell us anything that you think is germane to the issue?
Yeah, just that we did a review. We were working with planning department regarding their concerns. We went back to the zoning examiner, and the concerns of the planning department regarding the walls, the angle of plane, actually is not a variance. So we removed that. However, the zoning examiner did notice that he missed coverage variance. So we have to add that. So in light of that, that's why we need to defer it. And I've already provided the committee of adjustment, the new zoning notice from planning department with that, and everything's ready for the next meeting. It'd be appreciated if we can get on to the next agenda.
Very concise, very clear. Thank you. We will, if there's no questions, I'm not seeing any questions. We're going to go into committee. Sit tight, please. Okay, we're in committee. Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Thanks, Chair. Just through staff, is there opening on the next committee for this hearing, for this file? No? It's okay. That's fine. I think this is fair. I think we have to defer this application to allow for proper notice per the Planning Act. And so I'll move deferral of the application, sine die, and if something comes up for next meeting, then that would be great if that could happen. And if not, then it can't.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
I'll second that motion, sine die.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion by Mr. Reed to defer this matter. We have it seconded by Ms. McCauley. All those in favor? That's unanimous, and motion carried to defer this matter. Thank you, sir. I believe that wraps us up for deferrals. So now we're going to head back to item number 2.
Item 3.
Yes, and 3. Okay, we're at item 3. Item number 3, 32 CRESCENTWOOD Road, Toronto. The purpose of the application is to construct a new 3-story detached building with an integral double garage, front second-story balcony, front third-story rooftop patio, rear basement, walkout, and rear ground floor deck. The existing 1-story detached dwelling and detached garage will be demolished. There will be a total of 2 dwelling units on the lot. This application was previously deferred at the March 12, 2025 hearing. I will also note on our paperwork before us, there's recommendations from community planning. There is conditions from urban forestry, written correspondence in the form of a letter of objection, 1, and 1 registered speaker. If that can, is that accurate, Deputy Treasurer, 1 registered speaker?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we have 1 registered speaker online, or they've registered to speak online. Staff will check to verify if they're online. Nope. Okay, staff have verified that the resident for 30 CRESCENTWOOD Road will not be participating. They are not online. We do, however, it appears, have a speaker in the audience that has showed up in person to speak.
Wonderful. Do we see the speaker here today? Oh, there you are. I'm sorry I didn't see you behind those chairs. Good morning. Just sit tight. What we're going to do is we're going to first hear from the applicant or agent, and then we're going to ask you for your time to speak, which will be 5 minutes, okay? Thank you. You're welcome. You're doing great. Just sit tight. Applicant agent, are you on the line?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is this the agent?
Yes, my name is Hisham Hussein. I am the owner of 32 CRESCENTWOOD Road.
So you're the applicant?
I am the applicant, correct.
Very good, sir. You're allowed up to 5 minutes to make a presentation. Before you do that, I just want to look at committee. How do we need, does committee want to hear a presentation? Yes. Yes, and we're going to then have the presentation, sir. You can speak for up to 5 minutes, but you're not required to speak for 5 minutes. So go ahead and tell us about your application.
Thank you very much. So first, I will start with the purpose of the application. There has been an amendment for the 3rd-story rooftop patio that's no longer existing. We have had some conversation with the city planning, and they had some concerns about having 2 decks on the property. So we eliminated the 3rd floor patio completely, and this was placed. This partition is now closed to solarium. There were issues because this is a duplex. We are allowed 3 stories, and there was an issue with how the 3 stories would play with the garage. In the previous application, the garage was below grade, and we tried to work with the committee on our last appearance here in April, and the committee did not really approve of the reverse driveway. So we worked with on changing our plan, and we eliminated this variance altogether. So the garage now is with a positive slope. There is no variance for the garage. But when this happens, it brings everything up. So we are now facing a dilemma of fitting all of these 3 stories above ground. And we're requesting only 2 feet, 0.67 meters, like 67 centimeters, to be able to complete the project. In order to make this more appealing, we reduced all the heights of all the floors to 8 feet. We did not increase anything above 8 feet. So on average, 8 feet plus the joist space. And this is bringing us up to the 35 feet total that is requested for this variance. So we basically reduced all our variances here. We have only the height variance for the maximum height and the main wall. There is a couple of other inherent variances for the driveway because it will affect the landscape and also the front porch. But these are kind of understandable with the elevation of the garage.
Through the chair to the agent, okay, I understand you're amending your application. You spoke to amending the purpose of the application to remove the front 3rd-story rooftop patio, but you need to please go through for the record the variances on the screen that were on your public notice. Which variances have you eliminated? And if you mentioned something about adding variances, is that the case? You cannot add variances. If that's the case,
we're not adding any variances, no.
Okay.
There's no added variances.
Okay, so for the record, your 3 variances are on the screen. Are you deleting any of these variances?
No, these are the 3 variances that are caused by the like I said, there was an issue with the garage being under grade with a reverse slope. Once this has been elevated, it caused these 3 variances. So that's where we stand right now.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So it's amended application just for the purpose.
Correct.
Okay, sir, thank you. Thank you, Deputy Treasurer, for helping assist clarify that. I do remember this application before this committee in March. So it's fresh in my mind, I'm sure the other members. Does anyone have any questions right now from that presentation? Oh, Ms. McCauley, go ahead.
Yes, you've amended your application. You have still a height of the building and the height of the walls and the 3rd variance. I don't see any new plans. How have you changed your plans?
Actually, the plans have been changed. If you look at the layout is the same, but the heights, we had a buffer of 3 feet in the 1st floor. This 3 feet has been removed. The basement slab has been raised by 4 feet. Before it was minus 5.9. Now it is minus 1.9. So basically, we compacted the garage and the main floor to align with the main floor ceiling, and then the rest of it is the same. We closed the top so that we don't have a patio on the 3rd floor. So the overall, the layout is the volume, the foot, the layout is the same, but everything is more compact now so that we don't take as much height, especially that we brought the garage above grade. Like in the last meeting we had, the question came up if I would choose between the garage underground, like the garage being underground, because I had the TRCA approval, and this the height, and I approved and I requested the garage because if I have the garage underground as the property on 40 Crescentwood, I would be able to keep the height at 10 feet. At 10 meters. I would not need this extra space. And this is what I asked last time, but then the application was deferred anyways. And our conversations back and forth with the city planning, they requested also to elevate this garage. If it is more reasonable for the committee that I bring the garage back down and have the height lower to 10 meters, I can do that. It's just these are the guidance that we were provided, that it is more likely that I get the approval if I request the height approval rather than the garage.
Okay. I understand you're asking for a height of 3-story dwelling, which is permitted now, although the adjacent dwellings are 1 story on one side and 2 stories on the other one. So obviously this will be the tallest building. And then in spite of being the tallest building, you're asking that the height be more than 10 meters, that it be 10.67 meters. I think I've got that in my head. The other change, I'm not positive whether you've done this or not. You have a 3rd floor solarium. Has that been eliminated?
No, that solarium is a replacement for the patio. Before it was a patio and it was open space, and the planning committee, sorry, the city planning, we had a meeting, online meeting with the manager and one of the crew of the planning crew, and they advised they had some privacy concerns when it is an open space. And they basically asked us if we can close it, and I suggested a solarium, and they said that would work.
Okay. That's all my questions to the applicant.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Go ahead, Mr. Khan, you had a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you, sir. I would like to know, actually, I agree, first of all, partly the question has been addressed by my colleague. And the next one is the planning department is also recommending refusal of variance number 1 and number 2. Sir, we make the standard and have the minimum, the maximums. If the things are exceeding the maximum, then it means you are going not according to the zoning bylaws, but you are making your own bylaws. 3-story with a height in variance number 1, maximum is allowed 10 meters, and you are 10.67. You are exceeding. Number 2, your main wall height, you are exceeding 10.67. The maximum allowed is 7.5, which is 30% higher than the zoning bylaw, the maximum. What is the justification that I should consider them as a minor variances? Justify it.
Okay, so this issue was raised to the planning committee and to the city planning, because there was a misunderstanding about the application, that it is a single family home, but it is not, and it's a duplex. So with being a duplex, I am allowed up to 3 floors. And this is what the direction that the municipality is going towards right now, that it is allowing these 3 stories for duplexes. So given that it is 3 stories, your average story height is 9.5 feet. That's the lowest with the joist space. So when you multiply this by 3 plus a basement, then you've got yourself into the 34, 35 feet. So what has happened here is there was an issue on this application with the actual planner. He called and he had wrong information on the file, and he got upset when he was corrected by the zoning. And there is a bit of bias on this application, honestly, because when I had the meeting with his manager, they seem to be okay with the proposal, and they seem to be more lenient towards the 2 feet than he was. He offered these 2 feet when he knew that when he thought the application was for a single family home. He offered it's okay, I can get 9.5, 9.67. But then when he knew that it's a duplex, this is where it became an issue. At this point, I'm not here to argue whether it's fair or not. I am in a point where I am paying a mortgage, I'm paying a rental, I'm paying for rental of material. If you wish to give me just the 10 meters, let's do that. I will remove the parking completely and not have a parking lot on the property. I'm fine with that. Not front wall, no parking at all. And I will not make any additional variances.
Sir, my only concern is that 3-story will be setting a standard for our enticement for the other to go for it, and this will be the towering building in the neighborhood, and that will be a little bit of a concern, people around you.
I understand completely, and to be honest, I went through the to the neighborhood, and it's a nice neighborhood, and I like the vibe of the neighborhood. However, the whole neighborhood is single-family homes. There is no duplexes. So this duplex situation and the city and the municipality pushing toward duplexes is a new situation. And me being the first applicant to put in a duplex in this area does not mean that I should be penalized for it. Honestly, this is my take on it. But again, if I'm not trying to get anything that I'm not entitled to. If it is only the 10 meters that you're willing to give me, it will come at the cost of the garage. I'm fine with that. And I don't want to create any more issues or any more delays on the application. This is kind of where I'm standing right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Thank you, sir. It is very true that there is an interest by the city for duplexes. It's also true that initiating the first on a street or in a community can be challenging. It's also true that this committee has to exercise its authority based on the guidelines and rules we must follow, plus the information supplied by the departments like community planning and urban forestry, et cetera. I'm going to look to the committee, and I think Mr. Howe has a question.
Thank you, Chair. I believe there is a registered speaker or a speaker, so we probably should.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. We have a registered speaker here in person, and I'll also note for the record, as you'll see in your packages, there is a letter of objection from the counselor's office as well.
Thank you for that. Okay, if the speaker would like to go to the podium, we will hear from you, please. Thank you. Take your time. So just to give you an idea of where we're starting from, your full name, please, and your address, and you have up to 5 minutes to speak. So go ahead. We're going to check that out for you.
Thank you. Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Patricia McLean, Pat. My property is at 2 Valhalla Boulevard, Scarborough. I have resided there for 15 years. My home is around the corner from the 32 CRESCENTWOOD Road property. The back lot at 32 CRESCENTWOOD Road abuts my property on the south side. Before I make this presentation, I want to raise one admin point, that the plan that was included in my notice from the Committee of Adjustments, I have that document right here, is very small, blurry, and hard to read. While admittedly I have some visual impairment, the site plan is too difficult for me to read or review. I respectfully suggest that future Committee of Adjustment documents be presented so that even a reasonably sighted person can see them. Now, I will present my following objections to the application for 32 CRESCENTWOOD Road. 1. This is a restatement of the point I raised in the hearing here on March 12th. That is, there are no other 3-story buildings in the immediate area. I do not want for this to set a negative precedent. 2. There was a severe thunderstorm in July 2012. I was living at 2 Valhalla Boulevard at that time, and I remember it well. My basement flooded. Afterward, I contacted my insurance provider and the matter was resolved. Many of my neighbors were similarly affected. I recall the presence of dumpsters on my street and on neighboring streets. The point I want to make here is that CRESCENTWOOD Road is right beside the Scarborough Bluffs, right at Lake Ontario. At the foot of Valhalla Boulevard, there is a small park area. Within the last couple of years, a safety fence has been put up in that park. It is very likely that erosion of the bluffs is taking place. To me, that suggests that there should not be excavating or constructions. 3, both the new dwelling height and the new dwelling interior main wall height exceed the amount allowed per bylaws 589-2013. Those will affect the light shining on my property, particularly the backyard. 4, there were 2 requested variances to the zoning bylaws, of which I was notified in advance of the March 12th hearing. They are, first, the proposed structure area was almost double the allowed maximum, and the second, that the structure substantially exceeded the permitted percentage lot coverage. These were not mentioned in the notice that I received in late April for today's hearing. As I stated on March 12th, all of these requests are untenable. The area of the new building and its percentage coverage of the lot are unsuitable. They will lead to increased vehicular and pedestrian traffic and more noise. This is immensely disturbing and disruptive, and therefore unacceptable to myself, and will truly affect my enjoyment of my property. In closing, I am strongly opposed to the above noted application. Thank you for hearing my presentation today. Sincerely, Pat.
Thank you, Pat. Can you just hold on a minute? Some of the panelists here may have questions for you, please.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Khan, go ahead.
Madam, you were mentioning, first of all, we have only 3 variances in front of us. And they are height of the building, external main wall heights, and main entrance level. There is no mention or no variance about the area coverage. So you have addressed that concern of yours, which is not a variance in front of us. So we cannot deliberate or think about it. So within 3 variances that we have, you have addressed, and we are already asking questions about it.
I will respond to that. Those variances were not mentioned in the letter I received for this meeting, but they were addressed in the letter I received prior to the March 12th hearing for the March 12th hearing. I'm raising them again because they were not mentioned and they are still there. The lot coverage and the height of the walls.
Thank you, Pat. Oh, go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Yes, I see what you are referring to. I went back to our previous application, and there were a number of variances with respect to floor space index, size of the building. In fact, there were 8 variances at that time. I'm going to ask staff, because what has happened and what is different here is that the applicant is asking to build a duplex. The city has decided that duplexes are a desirable use. They've put in some conditions. The applicant doesn't meet all those conditions. He doesn't meet the conditions of height or wall height, but he may meet some of the other conditions. So staff, in terms of a duplex, the size of the building is no longer regulated?
Well, through the chair, we could direct that question to the applicant. I mean, it's the applicant to explain how he's changed his proposal and the difference between the duplex and the detached dwelling built form. But in general, yes, you're right, there's differences between those built forms, and that's why the variances are different between the previous application and this application. But we can pose that question directly to the agent to explain.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Sir, can you, the applicant, actually, just for one more second, does anybody have any questions for, okay, Pat, thank you for your presentation. We're going to keep going here. You can please take a seat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Is the agent online, the applicant?
Hello? Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, sir. Did you hear Ms. McCauley's question?
Yes, I heard. Thank you very much. I do understand that we're talking now about variances that are not there. Like we're going to discuss variances that we're not applying for. So what happens essentially is we provide our application to the city zoning. They look at what things would trigger variances and they would provide the report. On February 16 of this year, the municipality changed the bylaws. So there is no longer requirements for these ratios. So it is the zoning review that came back saying these are no longer applicable. You don't need to apply for them. There's nothing else that has changed in this. Basically, we're discussing something that's no longer a variance as stipulated by the municipality, by the zoning bylaws. So it's no longer an issue. It's no longer a requirement for duplexes.
Two things. Thank you for your response. I need to amend what I said about Ms. McCauley. That was actually from the Deputy Treasurer who had that question. So let's be clear for the record. Mr. Howe, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I think for the lot coverage, the change is prescribed by the ARU regulation, which allows additional units, residential dwellings of up to 3 dwellings to have a lot coverage of 45. So we have 43.56 here, 59% here, so it meets that regulation. And I believe previous variance 1 about the floor space index is because the city bylaw removed the requirement for multiplexes, FSI requirements for multiplexes. That's my understanding is why previous variants 1 and 2 were removed, which again aligns with what the applicant is saying.
I find that very useful. Thank you, Mr. Howe. Ms. McCauley, do you have your lights on your mic? Sorry. Okay. I think we should go into committee at this point. So we're going to go into committee. Applicant, please sit tight, and we're going to have a discussion now. Who would like to lead? Ms. McCauley.
Okay, I'd like to lead the discussion here. This is, I think, the third application for variances we've had on this street. We're quite familiar with it. We're also familiar with the problems in the area, specifically the erosion that has taken place and the erosion that's on the south side of CRESCENTWOOD, where that park, which was probably twice the size, suddenly the whole side of that park just sloped into the lake. So, as I said, we're familiar with this area. I've been down there probably 3 or 4 times by now because I normally like to take a look at what the applications. And we have this application. What has, as we explained, changed is that the city has determined that duplexes are a desirable form of housing, that they would like to see more of them in the city. But once they changed the rules for duplexes, they took away some things, but they kept some things. And so one of the things that they kept is a maximum height of 10 meters and a maximum wall height of 7.5 meters. So basically what the city, and I'm speaking to committee members and the public, basically what the city said is, we want to encourage duplexes, but we're not going to go whole hog and say anything goes. We want to keep a very close, firm control on this. And therefore, we've got variances here that aren't following that very close, firm control, both in terms of wall height and building height. Adjacent to this is the issue of the size of the building, the issue of the height of the building, 3 stories and a higher 3 stories adjacent to a single story and a 2-story, and the issue of how far should we be going in changing the rules that just got adopted in February. And I'll let others speak to the matter, but I think that's what we've got in front of us.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Thanks, Chair. And I agree with your points. I think that they're well taken. The duplex, I think, is a very positive element of this application. But I think that the main issue with it is the garage. And I think the garage is then pushing everything else up and creating these variances then. I think you could have a nice 2.5 story that basically fits within the current bylaw requirements, and I think that would fit better with the street. Coming back to the variances themselves, though, I think the only one I have a problem with is variance number 2 for the exterior wall height. I think that creates a form on this street that doesn't really blend with the neighborhood character. But in regard to number 1, I know city community planning is recommending refusal, but I think that 2 feet amount is minimal. So if I were to bring a motion, I would probably go with approving 1 and 3 and denying 2.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. I'll say a few things. My concern is that the community planning has reservations about approval for this application as they stipulated in regards to variances 1 and 2. I am also very aware that this applicant discussed, if I heard correctly, removing the garage. Is the garage the way forward on this with a committee, or do we just go to the vote and take that back to the applicant, or do we just hold a vote as people have articulated at this point? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Thanks, Chair. I don't think we necessarily have to go back. I think the applicant agent was open to that idea. He was clear in that, but I feel comfortable that we can vote on the application, and then whatever is approved, he can work within that existing massing, if that is approved.
Okay, so I look to the left, I look to the right. Let's go to a motion. Would anyone like to put forth a motion? Mr. Reed?
Sure, I'll put forward the motion that I mentioned before. I think that there have been positive changes in this application since last go-around. A lot of it is because of the duplex, which has eliminated some variances, but there have been some soft landscaping improvements as well, and I think particularly where this is located, to Ms. McCauley's points, that's important. So I believe that variants 1 and 3 are minor. I think looking at them, in my eyes, they're minor, but I think variance 2 is not desirable for the neighborhood. So I would move a motion to approve variances 1 and 2 of the amended application. That's with the purpose of the application being amended, subject to urban forestry condition 3. I'm moving to approve 1 and 3 and to deny variance 2.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Okay. I agree. This applicant has been working. The height is 2 feet. You're not really going to see the height of the building itself. Once you're dealing with the height of the walls, the wall height is the huge height that's going to impact this. So I'm prepared to second your motion.
Sorry, we have Mr. Reed put forth a motion to approve this application, keeping conditions 1 and 3 and removing condition 2. Variances, sorry, 1 and 3 and removing 2. And seconded by Ms. McCauley, subject to the conditions and as amended. And forestry too. Okay. All those in favor? All those opposed? We have Mr. Khan opposed, and the majority have carried it as approved, as amended. Thank you, sir. Okay, we are now at item number 4. 52 BRUMWELL Street, Toronto. Purpose of the application to construct a detached garage and to construct a new rear yard second-story deck and a new ground floor patio to the existing 3-story dwelling. We have conditions in urban forestry and community planning, according to our documentation, and no speakers. Do we have the applicant or agent available? Oh, you're up in the audience. Why don't you come on down? Thank you. Hi, sir. Nice to see you this morning. We'll need your full name and your address to start.
Sure. Good morning, Chair and Committee. My name is Robert Boltman on behalf of BSQ Landscape Architects. My residence is 28 Zola Gate, City of Vaughan, L4J9A7.
Very good. Thank you. I know you are here as the agent. Can I just look left and right? Does anyone wish a full presentation? Okay, sir, be aware, we are familiar with your materials. We do a lot of due diligence before we sit here. Do you have a few things you'd like to add briefly?
I can just give you, I guess, a little bit of a brief, if you don't mind. Sure. I'm here on behalf of our clients today to respectfully request your support and approval for minor variances to our project of 52 BRUMWELL Street. The variances are sought to accommodate improvements that will enhance the functionality of our clients' use, aesthetics, and the use of their property while maintaining harmony with the surrounding neighborhood, improving enjoyment of their lands, and without adversely impacting the environment or neighboring properties, trees, water flow. We've taken careful consideration to the architecture of the street and the architecture of this garage so it's in scale with the existing home on site. Each of these modifications have been thoughtfully designed to enhance the property's usability, and while not within the jurisdiction of the Toronto Region Conservation Authority or Ravine Natural Feature Protection, we did submit plans to each, and each have replied with approval with no further requirements and have accepted this proposal. I'm here today to answer any questions that you might have with regards to these variances. I do want to let you know that the garage represents 2% of the total size of the lot of 80.63 square meters, I believe. And the rear deck, it's a bit, I do want to just speak to the rear deck. The house itself its first floor is well above 2.5 meters from ground. So the 1.2 meter variance was already exceeded some time ago when a deck was already part of the initial site plan approval back in 2019. What we're asking here for is a revision to that deck, really, essentially, projecting it quite a little bit further. And the original deck had 16 steps down to get down to the ground. We actually have 16 steps down to get down to the ground. The deck is, we recognize, above the 1.2 meters, and we wanted to utilize that space below the deck for use and enjoyment. And so we're asking for an increase to lower that space for headroom to use to 2.83 meters. So we recognize that these variances do exist, and I hope that we can get your support in these modifications given the size of the lot. Our client would also commit to planting mature tree species on the property to improve some privacy and improve street aesthetics on BRUMWELL. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. I will point out the obvious that this backs on to Toronto and Regent Conservation Area.
Yes.
Just curious, for these things that you're asking for, is it to have a better view of that at the back?
Yes, indeed. Our client is how do I say, in a position to enjoy their land. They've got deer on their property. They've got multiple coyote home to their property. They want to enjoy the view out into the valley lands, which they own. They have a cottage up north in Penetang, and this is just another way for them to enjoy the green space. They look forward to planting mature tree species on property and working with the Toronto Region Conservation Authority, following their standards of native tree planting and as well working with ravine natural feature protection when required. There are no trees that are going to be hampered by these improvements. In fact, they will have a clearer sight line of the valley land from the back of their property. Their windows are of just good scale to view into the valley, and they would just want to get outside and enjoy that space when they can through the seasons. So making use of the space below allows them to have less impact on the landscape beyond the limits of the deck. The Toronto Region Conservation Authority have been involved in this application, and we've respectfully listened to what they've had to say, and they've given us kind of an approval of such.
Thank you, sir. We have a question for you from Mr. Reed. Go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Chair. Just one question about, it's a very large lot, and I don't necessarily have concerns with the size of the deck you're proposing. My only question is about overlook. I think you're quite close to the southern neighbor, but is there vegetation that's existing there?
There is, yes. To the south of the deck immediately, the neighbor has trees of mature size. They are listed on page. Let me grab that for you quickly. We do list the statistics. We did have an arborist on site, and I could bring your attention to trees A, B, and C. Trees A, B, and C are white spruces, and they have diameters, breast height of 0.3 to 0.4. So they're well above the 12-inch, 30-centimeter diameter that we had to basically identify them. They must reach 7 to 10 meters in height. They do exceed the height of the deck off the ground, Councillor Reed. And above and beyond that, we did have plans to, if possible, install mature tree species on that southern property line to further provide privacy to that neighboring who is a friend of our clients. They do have a pool, we are aware, and that pool is set back quite a bit from the property line. So these trees do provide privacy, and we have no intention to change grade or change water flow that would alter their survivability. We want nothing more than to keep them living for many years.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Ms. McCauley, and then Mr. Khan.
Okay. I'm looking at the survey.
Yes.
And this is a very large lot. It is double the size of every lot on that street. But I also noticed that at some point this lot was severed. But I'm assuming that the severance never was registered.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So once you've built this facility, you realize that in order to go back to your position of severance, you would have to tear down the proposal. Okay. Just making sure that everyone understands that. The second part with the severance is this is a ravine at the back. And I see that severance of the house, the main house, includes the back, but there's a part 5 or a part to it. I assume none of that was transferred to the TRCA.
No, it was not. That's right. So the severance did not go through. Our client decided to not divide the land, to retain and maintain. And back to my point about them enjoying these valley lands, the lot was bought again for the love of greenery and to maintain that space and to enjoy that space even from afar. So they didn't feel that conveying lands to the TRCA was worth the value of severing the land. Yeah. So
Okay.
thanks for bringing that up.
All right, it's an unusual situation. It's not unusual that once we've got a consent, the applicants decide they're not going to proceed. And I also have run into enough issues where people decide they don't want to transfer ownership to TRCA, mainly because they feel that they can look after it better than what an agency can.
I can't speak to who can look after it better. All I know is that our client is a steward of the land. You know, they really do appreciate trees and species of various kinds. They're not looking to alter any of that. We're staying far clear of that TRCA land that oversees this property. In fact, I think that, again, that just speaks to who they are. You know, there really are owners who wish to enjoy that space as they wish to, but not overreach in any way. So that was more important to them at that time than severing their land and building potentially a future home for family or whoever it may be. And so they wish to continue to enjoy that property and be able to walk that land and as such prune accordingly to any standards and plant further perhaps in that buffer of any native tree species. Yeah, just enjoy it. So
Okay. I see we have two conditions. One is that you build in accordance with the site plan.
yes,
And the second one is that urban forestry has their standard conditions.
absolutely. Yes, nothing more than we would like to keep the
You're
trees.
okay with both of those?
We are.
Okay.
Yes, I think we're
No
far
further
clear
questions?
of the trees. Yeah.
Mr. Khan, go ahead. Thanks, Ms. McCauley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you, sir. One variance, straightforward, but my concern is, which I think you will kindly consider, is the second-story deck and your rear wall, your 1.2 is allowed and you are 2.6 high. And at the same time, 2.5 meter is maximum allowed, but you are going 13.2 meters. Sir, that's a big jump and it's a big deck. My concern is at the second story, you will be having parties, creating noise later on, and that will be a concern of your neighbors. Tell me how it is justified I should give you that as a minor variance.
It's a good question. Thank you for bringing that up. It's very deceiving. So steps, as you know, take up a lot of space. Every time we design decks, we always try to manage steps and how to safely move from one space to another. With landings, railings, minimum widths, maximum heights of
Can't
stairs.
hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry. So just back to that. It's a little deceiving, and I'll tell you why. Stairs require minimum depth treads and heights, and we always try to mitigate and manage change of grade safely, and stairs in their direction. So back to that distance of the 13.2 meters, I believe, it's actually really not that. In review of the plans, you'll notice that the deck from the furthest wall to the west only exceeds 6 meters. The stairs take up an additional 6 with the landing. I can give you the numbers. I wrote them down here. I had the exact same question, sir, so I understand where you're going with this. When looking at the drawing, specifically L204, you're going to notice the deck and then notice a flight of stairs projecting westbound. There's a reason for that because we have a lounge area down below. So we have a patio that we have to get to. The stairs themselves, because they're part of the structure, do extend westbound, making up that 13 or so meters, which is what you're speaking towards. But the deck itself is not 13 meters in projection westbound. The deck is 6 meters outside the furthest west point face of the wall, the facade. So the stairs we have to put somewhere. Either we go westbound or we end up going northbound. We can't go southbound because of the house and the proximity to the neighboring property, respectfully. So our stairs extend westbound. And again, back to Councillor Reed, we are planning mature tree species along to enhance that privacy. And our clients are also going to put up privacy screens on top of their deck so that we can, so any privacy needs. But regarding noise, I can attend that our clients are not those people. They're not, 25 years old and having parties. Sure, get-togethers, but they spend a lot of time in the summer at their cottage in Penetang, and this was a space that they can use all year round. So thank you for bringing that up. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. I will note that there's no neighbor's letter of objections or concern. I will also note that I think it's on the plans LD 2.1 or LD 2.2, that if I understood you, sir, correctly, this is why this can be somewhat deceptive in terms of the size of the deck because of the length of the stairs for the treads and the runner. Yeah, okay.
Yes, correct. Yes, sir.
Which one best exemplifies that in the diagrams, LD 2.1 or 2.2?
Well, to be honest, it's actually the same thing. One is just a section drawing, and the other one is an elevation drawing showing how it will look from the southern property line, from property limits.
And that's the projection?
This is just the structure. We're not illustrating the planting here, but we do have a gap between the southernmost facade of this structure and the property line, which we are using for, again, continuous water flow. We're not changing water flow, but we do wish to plant mature tree species in this gap to enhance privacy for the southern neighbor who didn't object to this deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to follow up with what Mr. Khan said, because it is interesting how the numbers present until you see for me to see the picture.
Yes.
It presents more context. Anybody on committee have a question? Okay, we're going to go into, I don't believe there's any more speakers. We're going to go into committee now, and we'll make our decision. Thank you for your...
If I may, back to Councillor Khan, drawing LD 2.4, if I may, and as well as really describes the projection. So this drawing here is really the deck projection for this point westbound. Okay. So, yeah, hope that helps.
It gives context. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're not all planners.
Okay, I appreciate your time.
Thank you for your presentation, sir. It was good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Committee, we're now in committee. Who would like to lead the band? Okay, I'll lead the band. This is a big piece of property. Sometimes this committee makes some very, very challenging decisions. For me, this won't be a challenging decision. This is a large piece of land backing onto a conservation area. I'm not seeing a great deal of concerns by any departments except some conditions, as Ms. McCauley pointed out so acutely, which would be decided to the site plans. If we do take a vote on this, I'll be voting in favor of it because I'm just not concerned that this is not appropriate, and I do believe it meets the 4-test rule. Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead, Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Chair. I would move a motion to approve this application. There's one variance. It looks very straightforward. As the Chair mentioned, the lot is very large, and I'm satisfied the applicant has demonstrated that the deck, in fact, the usage is only about protruding 6.73 meters from the yard. The rest of it is practically stairs. So based on that fact, I think it meets the 4-test of the Planning Act, and I would move approval, subject to urban forestry conditions 1 and 2 and community planning condition, which is tying to the site plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. Mr. Howe's moved that we approve this application. Does anyone go ahead, Mr. Reed?
I'll second that, Chair.
Mr. Howe's moved to approve it, contingent on the conditions of urban forestry tying it to the site plan. And of course, urban forestry's condition about trees. All those in favor? That's unanimous. It's carried. Thank you for today, sir.
Thank you.
At this point, Deputy Treasurer, we are an older crew up here. We would like to take a break.
Through the chair, thank you. We'll be taking a 10-minute break. Members, please mute your microphones and turn off your cameras. We will reconvene in 10 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. We're back. Thank you for your patience. We're now on item number 6. Item number 6 is 38 Dennett Drive, Toronto. Purpose of the application is to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling with a rear yard, second-story balcony, and rear yard deck. This revised public notice is being issued to correct a typo in variance number 5. I notice in our documentation that there are urban forestry conditions and that there is correspondence, a letter of objection, 1. Is anybody here in the audience today for this matter? 1, 2. Are you speakers or applicants? Oh, very good. Okay. And you're a speaker. Thank you, sir, for that identification. If we could have the applicant and interpreter come down. Oh, I apologize. I have a hearing impairment. I am sorry. Deputy Treasurer, do we have the applicant?
Through the chair, yes, we have the agent online.
Hello, agent. Can you identify yourself with your full name and your address, please?
Good morning, committee. It's Peter Jeruzik again from ARC Design Group Development Services, Inc., 60 Thistledown Crescent, Whitby, Ontario.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you're aware then we do have some speakers here to talk to this issue. You have up to 5 minutes to make a presentation. You do not have to use all that time, but please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Through you, Chair, this application here that we've presented for my clients, it's a multi-generational home. He himself lives with his parents and wants to develop this beautiful neighborhood in a house that suits their family well. We have the requested variances that we're looking for here are floor space index, some height, wall height, and main dwelling height. An increase because of some grading issues for where the first floor is classified as 1.39 instead of 1.2 meters. And the biggest one here, number 5, is depth. Now, I'd like to point out maximum permitted building depth is 19. The new building depth is 24.59 is what we're requesting. And that is to accommodate a room in the porch below grade. So the variance of the 24.59 is to accommodate the room underneath the covered loggia in the back of the house. However, the house itself is only 17.68 meters depth above grade. So it does fall within the scope of the 19 meters. If we didn't put the room underneath that exterior deck, then, and if it was unexcavated, then we would have complied with that. But seeing that he wanted to fit that extra room below the before his ground floor porch at the back, that extended out that variance to 24.9, and that is below deck. Below the grade, and I'm fine if the committee wants to tie the plans regarding that to it to ensure that we're not going to build anything above grade to that situation. When you do look at the basement plan, like I mentioned before, it is a multi-residential, multi-family residential. He has his family living with him, his family, his in-laws living with them, and they have bedroom and a kitchen below, which will be part of the one family unit. I just want to point out that if we applied, and I made mention to this, that if he applied as a duplex, creating that basement unit as a separate dwelling unit, then the height and the wall height of the dwelling unit and FSI would be off the table. But he said, no, this is just for my use, just for my family. I want to apply for it this way, not going through all the other requirements to make it a legal duplex because it is his own family moving in there. However, if he did apply for a duplex, variances 1, 2, and 3 would not have applied. So I just want to bring that to attention. So we do believe that this does meet the 4 tests of the Planning Act. And looking at what we're looking to present here, when you look at the site plan, look at the neighboring houses, it is a very established neighborhood. It is in transition right now. A lot of houses of the original bungalows are being purchased because the lots are nice sizes. And I think that this does represent on where the community is heading here in terms of new development. And if anybody has any questions, I'm willing to answer.
Thank you very much. And I'm just looking left and right. Yeah, we're going to wait and listen to the speakers, and we'll circle back to you. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
So would you like to come up, interpreter, with the gentleman? Thank you. And then we'll get to you next, sir. We forget no one here at the Committee of Adjustment. Madam Interpreter, just to be clear, the full name and the address of where the gentleman resides?
It's 2E7.
And just to confirm, is that the same person who's registered with us a letter of concern?
I think so.
Can you ask him?
你那个之前有发过邮件是吧？ Yes.
Thank you for that confirmation. Please go ahead. You have up to 5 minutes. You don't need to use all the 5 minutes, and stick to the application. Thank you.
可以讲了是吧？
对，
就按这样。
嗯。
第一点就这样讲，我讲吗？有
你
中文。
讲，你讲，你用中文讲，我翻译。
OK， 好。女士先生，你们好。我发表我的几个意见。我前院墙角与38号中间距离是4尺2寸，等于那个1.27米。38号到中间距离也是4尺2寸，等于1.27米。
First of all, I would like to clarify that the front yard ward corner to the middle of the 38 property, the distance is 4 feet 2 inch, equals around 1.27 meters, not as what the document stated 1.25. That was wrong. The accurate should be is 1.27 meter. 讲第二点。
好。第二点是38号，它房子建得太高了。38号在我们登了这条路，它的地点处于最高点。然后我们旁边的房子是一个阶梯式向东成一个阶梯式向下阶梯式。38号它这个 basement 比原来的抬高了1尺多，然后38号它1楼建了12尺高，在我们附近的房子
太多了。
我们附近房子没有建这么高，所以我们请求它降下来3尺。
So the building they are proposed to build, the height is way too high. This is going to be the tallest building in the neighborhood. And my request is to decrease the height, decrease 3 feet, so 3 feet less to what they proposed, the height. Because they raised the building height 1 feet more than before, and the proposed 1 floor, the first floor height is also higher. 第三点。
好，在我们前院与38号之间有3棵树。这3棵树呢，因为现在是38号房子矮呀，不影响。如果现在38号建新的房子建上去之后呢， 我们目测这树枝，我们这3棵树枝要砍掉一大半，这样会造成树会死，风吹一下就树会失去重心，树会倒，人很危险。我们不知道调整委员会怎么处理这3棵树。
Okay, so there were 3 trees between my property and 38, and we anticipate that when they do the construction, they will cut off some branches, which will make the tree withered, and if the wind blows, the tree could lose the gravity and balance, and could fall down, and that could be very dangerous. So I don't know how the committee deal with that issue.
目前呢，38号，他每周有2次聚会，每次有10几个到20个人左右。我不知道这38号房子建好以后，是不是还是这样，每周都有这样聚会？因为我们社区需要安静嘛，他这个都是晚上来聚会，到2点、3点才结束，我们很担心。
So currently, in the current house of 38, they have gatherings, parties twice a week, and each time they have around 20 persons. So we don't know after they rebuild this house, will they still have this type of parties? Currently, they have the party usually lasted until 2 to 3 a.m., which could be disruptions to the neighbors. 结束了。Yeah, that's all we want to say.
Okay, can you stay at the podium, please? Can you ask the gentleman? Doje, thank you. I'm going to make a couple of observations just so we make sure we've heard everything clearly for the record. And that is, if I follow his letter of concern and your excellent interpretation to help us, thank you, that the first concern he mentioned was the distance. I'm going to ask a question, and maybe you can put it to him as a yes or no once you tell him what my question is. Is he concerned that the distance between the corner of his front yard and the middle of number 38 of 4.2 inches is not correct?
你是说，这个距离4尺2寸？
我原来就是这样，我旧的图纸标注有这样。
Yeah, so the drawing he has is 4 feet 2 inch. 4 feet 2 inch is correct one, he said. But he said somewhere 1.25 meters. 4 feet 2 inch should be equals to 1.27 meter. But somewhere he marked as 1.25 meter.
Understood. We've confirmed the first point. The second point is he is also concerned about a decrease of 3 feet, and that's in regards to sorry, the ground floor of the new house is more than 1 foot higher than the ground foot of the old house.
That's the reasoning part, I think.
Right.
His request is to decrease the height of the whole building to decrease 3 feet less than what they proposed, the applicant proposed.
Thank you. I think Ms. McCauley's on that too, so that's great. Thank you for that. And I have another question. He's worried about trees will die.
Mostly he doesn't know what the property owner of 38 will treat these trees because construction. So that's just an anticipated possible problem. He wants to know the answer.
Good. And the last point is that I understood he made was that there's parties twice a week, 20 persons approximately, that end at 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning.
就是聚会的这个问题，你现在想解决什么问题？就是
我现在就很担心，他这个房子建好是不是专门用来聚会用的？他这个是因为是中东人他们那边。
So he's worried that after this, the function or the purpose of this building or this house, just for the party.
Okay, I think we're on the same page. I just wanted to make sure I understood what was being said. Miss, anybody have a
因为他
question?
半夜很吵。
We'll ask you to sit, and thank you for the presentation. And we have another gentleman we're going to listen to. Come on down, sir. Thank you, sir. I think you know the routine at this point. I've seen you here all day. So it's first and last name and your address.
My name is John Pugh. I live at 57 Dennett Drive since 1991. I'm also the owner of the property to the west of where this application is being made at 1 Laurelin Crescent or Drive, I can't remember. When I get older, I expect to move into that smaller home. Currently, there's a family living there, husband, wife, and 3 children. My concerns are I do organic vegetable gardening, and I'm concerned about the blockage of sunlight. So my concerns relate to item number 2 on the request. The new dwelling will be 0.76 meter, which I'm guessing is about 2 feet. Item number 3, the exterior wall will be 8 meters instead of 7, so that's 3 feet. And the building will be, instead of 19 meters long, 24 long. So I have gardens along the fence line. I grow tomatoes, carrots, all sorts of vegetables. I share them with several senior citizens, the tenants in the home. So my concern is, can this application just limit it to the bylaws that were currently established for height? Other than that, I'm happy to have the new home. I'm happy to have new neighbors, but I don't want to lose the precious sunlight because food for our table depends on that sunlight. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your being concise and also very descriptive. So just to circle back, variance number 3 is your concern.
I would say anyone that relates to height. So to me, I see 5 items, so I guess I'm not understanding. It says Chapter 2, 10-20, that's talking about height. Chapter 3 talks about height, and then Chapter 5 is length. So I don't understand your question. I'm sorry.
So I'm just making sure that I understood, because you talked about specifically variance number 3.
Yes.
Yeah, and you talked about the wall height. So now upon my question, I think I've also heard you say you're concerned generally with any variance dealing with height.
And the length, because I assume the length relates to the height.
And that's all I'm trying to ask.
Yes,
Is to make sure
that is correct.
Okay. Anyone on committee? Okay. We're going to now let the applicant, or the agent in this case, respond to these concerns, and we'll hear what he has to say.
Thank you.
Let's go there for a minute. Have a seat. Just wait a moment. We'll see where we go. Are you there, Mr. Agent?
Yes, I am. Through you, committee. In terms of the dealing with the first comments, we try to maintain the garage as close as possible where the garage is. Actually, we're pushing the garage further back. In terms of the survey discrepancy, in that letter of objection, they did present the old original survey, which was in feet. And then, of course, we have the most up-to-date survey. So I think their concern was with the discrepancy in terms of the 1.25 versus 1.27 based on the conversion process there. Our new house is actually, I've pulled it further away from the neighbors at 40, except for the garage, which is existing. The entire ground floor and second floor of the main dwelling will now be 1.9 meters away from the property line, as opposed to 1.42, which is the existing house. So they're actually going to be farther away, the dwelling, from the situation there. In terms of the partying or whatnot, I can't speak to that in terms of that. This is not being built as a party house. This is for my client to move in there with his family, with his in-laws, and that's the purpose of this design here. In terms of the second comments there regarding the one Laurel Inn, the one on the corner, I understand the issues regarding the sunlight. Our house is actually facing, the front yard is facing north. So if the gardens are in the rear, from morning to past midday, there's full sunlight there. The dwelling will not affect the sunlight into the backyards, as our house is west of it, is west, directly west. So of course, once we get into the late afternoons, into the evening and the summer hours, yes, there will be a shadow casting there. But from the morning sunlight all the way to, in the summertime, into mid-afternoon, there's full sunlight into his backyard. So I don't think that's going to be affecting it as being laid out there. So we're directly west of that. In terms of the height, I'm going to reiterate, this is a multi-generational house. I did put it to my client, you can make this into a duplex and eliminate the majority of the variances, except for that building depth, which is just below grade. So he wants to be honest and said, this is for my family. I do not want to rent it. I don't want my neighbors to perceive that I'm renting it. That's why I don't want to legalize a duplex here. That was the intention here, but we could legalize it and eliminate half those variances. So I think in terms of what my client wants to do here and make it a multi-generational home, we do need those variances because we're doing a multi-generational home instead of a duplex for that. And I hope the committee understands that. I believe you guys been through this in many different instances and realize the impacts of that. And I leave it up to you if you have any questions regarding this.
Thank you. I think if I heard you correctly, you're saying that the client you represent is saying that they could pursue as a duplex, but they wanted to, according to you, be forthright and say this is what it is, a multi-generational interest.
Correct, because under that provision for duplexes, floor space index and height gets extended to 10 meters. We're at 9.76. And also the wall height gets extended. So the issue is here, he didn't want the neighborhood to think he's building a rental apartment here because it is for his family. So he wants to be honest with it and say, this is just for my family, multi-residential. We are not renting out the basement. So that's why we're requesting these variances.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? No? Oh. Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Okay, I don't have a question. I have more a statement. I understand the concern of the person who spoke through the interpreter, and I also understand the gentleman that is here. He wants to maintain light and air and sunlight in his backyard. The plans that I see in front of us will do that. The backyard is 50 feet long with no building in it. But to ensure that, I'd like to put a condition that this application be built in accordance with the site plan that we see in front of us.
Thank you very much. I think the agent spoke to that, but before we ask the agent to confirm, we'll talk to Mr. Reed. Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Thanks, Chair. I had one question about the second floor balcony that you're proposing. And it's quite close to the neighbor, to number one, to the side lot line. I'm wondering if you have concerns about overlook and if you've considered any privacy solutions to that.
We've removed that one variance. The balcony right now is 29.6, and as you can see, we don't have a variance for 29.6 balcony. There was a concern with the planning department regarding that, so we're going to maintain our required 4 square meters and just bring it back so they can just enjoy those 2 doorways to come out and just have a view. But it's not going to be a large balcony as it is right now because there was concerns about that with planning department.
Okay.
Sorry, it should have been removed then, that word balcony, but that's mostly a flat roof. Had we won't be able to obtain that because we're only allowed 4 square meters under the bylaw.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I didn't understand that, so thanks for clarifying.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Reed. And how do you feel, Mr. Agent, about the site plan being tied to approval?
Through the chair to the agent, that was a question to you.
Oh, sorry, I thought they said Mr. Reed. My apologies. As I mentioned during my first discussion, I realized that the room below grade is the building depth, and I'm fine to tie it to the plans, so there's no misinterpretation that once we get approval, we're building something above grade that's steep.
Thank you for that. At this point, we'll go into committee. And Ms. McCauley, would you like to lead us off?
Yes, thank you. We have an application here for 5 variances. They're all a little larger than what is permitted, but it's a brand-new house, and it's pretty much in keeping with the type of new houses that we see in the area. I think to address the issues of both residents, we should tie the approval to the approval to the site plans as shown. This would be.
Are we good?
I think, I'm just looking, it should be to the, let's
Through the chair to Member McCauley, so there is a lot siting and grading plan.
that's what I'm looking for, yes.
And if staff can pull that up on the screen just to assist.
Yeah, I found it. So I propose approval of this application for variances, subject to in compliance with the lot siting and grading plan, and subject to urban forestry conditions.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. We're going to just hold that. That's on the table. Sir, I need to address something because the gentleman who spoke unfortunately doesn't understand the order of process. Sir, you're not allowed to rebut. You get to speak. The agent gets to rebut. And now there's no more time allotted for speakers or
So if he
process.
gave you correct information, that's okay?
You cannot proceed any further. Okay. That's the rules. But please understand, it's not personal. Those are the rules of order.
I get it.
Having said that, Ms. McCauley has tabled her motion. I look to the committee. Does anyone wish? Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Thanks, Chair. I'll second that, but I first of all want to thank the neighbors for coming down, and I understand their concerns. But I think that Ms. McCauley made a good point in that the variances are minor. It's often challenging to look at what's there versus what's permitted versus what's proposed. And what is being proposed is really, I think, in my opinion, quite a small variance as to what is permitted as of right, as of law. And so I think the impacts of those are limited. And I'm not sure if Ms. McCauley added urban forestry too. Do we have that as a condition? You did, okay. I'd be happy to second that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Thank you, Ms. McCauley. We have a motion from Ms. McCauley to approve, tying site plans to the approval and also with the conditions from urban forestry. And we have it seconded by Mr. Reed. All those in favor? And we have 4 approve, I will dissent, and 1 dissent. But a motion is carried. Thank you. We must now move to agenda item number 7. and this is 22 Kootenay Crescent, Toronto. The purpose of the application is to convert the existing rear yard ancillary building into a two-story garden suite. There will be a total of 2 dwelling units on the lot. Recommendations. Community Planning recommends refusal, or if approved, conditions be imposed by this committee. Written correspondence is a petition of support for signatures. Do we have any speakers in the audience today to this matter? And we have a speaker up there. We have you folks. Is anybody here as the applicant or agent?
I'm the agent.
You are, and you're the applicant? Perfect. We will start with you. We'll get to you after we hear from them first. Thank you for your patience. Committee, do we need a, well, obviously, we're going to have a presentation. You have up to 5 minutes. You don't have to use it all, Mr. Agent. You know the rules, so
Yes.
go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and good morning, committee. The proposed second dwelling on the property is the proposed second dwelling. on
And through the chair, the name and address of the agent.
Oh, sorry. My name is Henry Sinclair. I'm 38 McCourt Drive in Caledon, L7K0B4.
Okay, you're going to have to, you're so tall, sir, just bend over a bit. It's going to be hard for me to hear this.
Okay, not a problem.
And speak loud.
Yes, yes. So the proposed second dwelling on the property is basically for Mr. Lacero's daughter to live in, and we have gone through the building department and make sure that all the rules and the bylaws are followed. But in the last conversation I had with the committee planning, we realized that on the site plan where it says 59.46 square meters is literally incorrect. The correct measurement square meter is 45.8. So speaking with the committee planning, they asked me to bring that up while we are here. So basically that's what we want to present to you today.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to look at the committee. Yeah, help us, sir. Again, I apologize for this judgment, but your voice is low. Can you really articulate for us your last point? Because we want to capture this accurately.
Yes, the 59.46 square meters and the proposed dwelling is incorrect. The correct one is 45.8 square meters. And after speaking with community planning, they asked me to, when I'm here, to present this to the committee. Yes, because it's an incorrect measurement that is there.
Through the chair to the agent. So is your public hearing notice correct? The variance that was sent to the sent to the public as notice, and it's on the screen. Is that the variance you're seeking, or are you amending that variance?
Well, we're amending it also.
Okay, so are you decreasing or increasing?
Decreasing. The second and first floor is 91.6 square meters.
Okay, so for the record, so you have the garden suite interior floor area, 163.37 meters square. Is that number changing?
Yes.
Okay, and what is that number?
It's 91.6 square meters.
Okay, and then will be more than the gross floor area of the residential building on the lot, 118.92 meters square. Is that remaining?
Yes, the 118.92 square meters is for the existing building.
Okay. So through the chair to the agent, then do you require this application still? Do you still need this variance? Because it's appearing that you would be complying.
Yes, we will. That's after talking with the committee planning. Yes, we realized that we should have caught that earlier. That 59.46. Yeah.
So through the chair, it appears the agent, you're asking to withdraw this application then?
No, we're not withdrawing it. We're just saying that that's the 45.8 should be the correct square meters for the and this, you don't have the site plan up there, but a site plan, if you could put your site plan up, it's this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just to recap, Deputy Treasurer, if I understand this gentleman correctly, we may have an application that doesn't need to be before us.
Yes.
We can confirm that that's the situation.
Through the chair, the agent is still requesting this application. So previously, the garden suite interior floor area was 163, and so they've reduced it in size.
To 91.6.
Right. So it doesn't appear to be a variance.
Yeah, and that's my observation here, so I'm not sure why it's here.
Through the chair to the agent, and you're maintaining that the gross floor area of the residential building on the lot is 118.92?
Correct.
Okay, so if your proposed garden suite interior floor area is 91, that is less. So then you would not need a variance.
Correct.
Okay, so then would you like to withdraw this application?
And just to clarify, sir, what that means is you can proceed per the policy and procedures of the City of Toronto without asking us for permission to do something different.
Okay, so for the building permit, will you then send an information back to?
Through the chair to the agent. So no, you would just apply for building permit. If you comply with the zoning bylaw, you would just take your plans, if your reduced plans, and you would apply for building permit. You don't need committee of adjustment approval unless you're varying a variance.
They asked me to come here.
Maybe to just officially withdraw your application.
We do not want to.
Who asked you to come here?
Her name is Joey from Community Planning.
In community planning?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's not
And
the building.
she was the last person I spoke with.
Okay, there might have just been a disconnect. I mean, that's not the building department. But if you're revising this variance, as you've stated, then it's no longer a variance, you're complying. And you could just take your plans and go to the building permit. Because what you've amended your application is not actually a variance before the committee.
Madam, can I make a suggestion? Why don't we defer this application? Let him determine through the building department whether he needs it or not. And then if he doesn't need it, we never see him again. If he does need it, he's back. But we'll defer it and you can have your conversation, make sure you don't need it.
As chair, I just want to say that that's what I was thinking. I think Mr. Howe and some other people are thinking the same. What we're saying, sir, very clearly is we're going to, with your, hopefully you'll agree to this, we're going to defer it, and then you can straighten this out, which will probably mean you can withdraw this whole application and proceed with building permits the way you want to build your garden suite. Okay? You don't have to be here, it would appear. But as a measure of security and caution, we're just going to defer it so you can figure out with people like the city that you are not actually wanting a variance. Because we don't think you need to be here as of today.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
It's good news, generally speaking here. Okay.
Okay.
So, taking the next step forward, and I'm sure this doesn't come across as an inducement, would you like us to defer your application?
Yes.
Good. Okay, we're going to go in committee. I want to address the speaker here because you took the time to be here today. It would appear that this matter has no bearing with this committee. miss, so we're not going to hear from speakers, except technically I have to ask you if you'll agree to the deferral.
And through the chair, we'll need their name and address.
Right. So make your way down, because I will have to follow procedure then. Folks, could you go back to the gallery, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you so
I think this
much.
will all work out.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for being here. There's only one question I can ask you procedurally at this point. It's what the rules dictate. Do you agree or disagree with this matter being deferred so that the applicant can sort out this situation with the city properly?
شوف what they say. He's asking if you're okay with them
And
taking
your name and address too.
He's asking if you're okay with them taking the time to do this and fix the numbers.
Okay.
And then they'll come back next
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Then your name and address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here. My name is Menka Krinchevska. I live 21 Kilgregan Crescent. Opposite what the people want to do this. Personally,
Are you okay with coming back next time? Or no? Yes or no?
yes.
So I'll turn on my mic. Thank you for coming. We're going.
Only one. Only one thing. No one in our area have in the backyard build a house. No one.
Okay.
And
let's
this
leave it there.
house is
And
on.
thank you. Okay, we're in committee now, which means only we can speak. Committee, you've heard a lot of information. Deputy Treasurer, go ahead.
Through the chair, can we just confirm that there's nobody else in the audience that wishes to speak to this deferral or this application? Okay. See none. Thank you.
Very prudent, thank you. Okay, committee. I look to Mr. Reid to lead us off.
Thanks, Chair. I think that we've heard, and when I was reviewing this application at the start, I wondered why it was here, because it seemed like there was some sort of error in interpretation. I don't think that even with the larger number that was being proposed for the garden suite, I thought that the main house was larger. Anyway, it appears that this variance is no longer required. So I move to defer the application to allow the applicant time to confirm with buildings that their proposal is as of right. And if they need to come back, then they can come back. Sine die.
Thank you. Ms. McCauley?
I'll second that.
Mr. Reid has articulated clearly why he moved to defer this matter. Ms. McCauley has seconded. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. We will defer. Thank you. Item number 8, 27 Mansion Avenue. Purpose of the application: to permit the extension of the existing lawful non-conforming one-story detached dwelling by constructing a full second-story addition, front second-story balcony, and rear second-story balcony. There is also requested permission under subsection 45(2), sub A, sub 1 of the Planning Act that the property has lawful non-conforming status under the Planning Act. as a one-story detached dwelling existed prior to the passing of the zoning bylaw, which does not permit the said use in a general industrial use, brackets MG zone. Any proposal to construct an enlargement of extension to the building requires the permission of the Committee of Adjustment. The proposal to construct a second-story addition, front second-story balcony, and rear second-story balcony constitutes enlargement and extension to the non-lawful conforming use. So with respect to this, there's conditions from Metrolinx. I do not see any speakers or letters of objection or support. I'm in a position to ask, is the applicant or agent available?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the agent is online.
Good afternoon, agent. Can you identify yourself with your full name and address, please?
Mohammed, you have been unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
your full name and address, please.
Yeah, my name is Muhammad Ibrahim Khalil. I am the owner and the applicant of the property 27 Mansion Avenue, Scarborough.
Thank you, sir. Committee, do you want a full? Okay, we do not need a full briefing, sir. We've read the extensive package you submitted prior, but I would encourage you to just tell us briefly what your application is.
The purpose is, you already mentioned, to permit the extension of the existing lawful non-conforming one-story detached house to adding another storage in the existing footprint. So we are not taking any extra space. Existing the structure, I would like to have a second storage because of my family growing, and I need a bigger space. That's the reason why I submit this application.
Thank you. We have two people. I'll start with Ms. Macaulay, who wants to ask a question, and then Mr. Howe.
Okay, I don't want to ask a question. I have a comment. If do you want me to proceed with the comment? Okay. All right. This is a lawful non-conforming dwelling. Don't often get one of these. There's very few of them left in the city of Toronto now. However, what he's trying to do is build a second story on it. So the question really is, can he expand as a lawful non-conforming dwelling? I noticed that he's got a residential dwelling to the east, a residential dwelling to the west. They're in an area where there's industrial uses also there, so it's a mixed area, but I don't see any reason why we would refuse this application. It makes sense, allow him to build a second floor residential use.
Thank you for that, Ms. Macaulay. Go ahead, Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Chair. My question to the applicant is, have you always maintained the same use at the same location, being a residential dwelling?
Yes, I have been, I bought this house in 2018, and since then I have been living there. But my family, as I mentioned, my family is growing, and during the COVID time, I started working remote, and this is the very necessary for me to having bigger space. I have 4 kids right now, so this is the main point for this, and the same uses as well.
Okay, so in other words, you're not aware of any time that this dwelling has not been used for residential purposes?
This property I bought, it was single family dwelling, lawful, and that was the the listing I saw and I bought it, and I, as a single family dwelling, I have been living here since I bought this property.
Okay, no, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir. I have a little feeling that it is a lawful because you are already having a one-story house and you want to take advantage to put up a second one, which becomes non-conforming. Now, that is a difficult area in which I am caught up. How to say yes or no to a building which is already existing and you want to expand. But my concern is it is an industrial area, and I would like to ask, how old is the building?
It's about 100 years old.
100 years old. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's here.
Okay. Is it one of the Okay. Have you ever repaired it?
Minor repair since I bought it, no, not to major repair. But I went through the inspector and also the architect. He verified that this is structure support for the additional load for.
I could ask you 10 technical questions, but that is not my concern at the moment as a committee member. I'm just looking into 100 years old building and giving a permission to build a second one unless we have really a report on your roofing and foundation. These are two things which will determine me to allow you yes or no. Did you submit to the planning at the time of your review with them the foundation, soil conditions, as well as the roof and the wall conditions?
No, they didn't ask for, and I submit the detailed planning for the constructing the addition, and the city planner, they didn't even give any review and asking for this kind of information.
Sir, I will make the question very simple for you. What kind of industrial area is it?
It is, the previously it is Scarborough Oak Ridge community, the former city of Scarborough. So it's a general industrial area. If you see the Google map or the picture, it's 60% in this street is residential and 40% is like commercial. My two neighbor, it's a residential. If you see in my left or right, or it's east and west.
Thank you, sir.
So at the very end of the yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Clearly, as Ms. McCauley pointed out, when you're looking at Google Earth or visiting the site, there's a lot of mixed use here, from industrial to arguably light commercial to a variety of other things, including a little parkette. Anybody have another question from committee? No. I think at this point we're going to go into committee. Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Okay. I'll recommend approval of this extension of the lawful non-conforming dwelling. I don't think there are any conditions.
Through the chair, there are Metrolinx
Sir,
conditions.
Oh, Metrolinx, yeah.
Sir, there is one minor very.
Okay, sir, just for a moment, due to due procedure, you can't speak. We're in committee. We've got the file, we've talked it through, and now we have to make our decision. So unless I'm missing something, we're going to ask you to just listen and see what our decision is. Go ahead, Ms. McCauley, sorry.
Okay, I am recommending approval of the application which is an extension of a lawful non-conforming dwelling in order to construct a second story.
Thank you for that clarity. Anyone,
And through the
Mr.
chair to Member Macaulay for your motion, if you could just state the reasons for the minor variance, the reasons of the 4 tests, as well as that you are of the opinion the committee considers the application has met the requirements of subsection 45(2)(a)(I) of the Planning Act. If that is your motion.
My motion was not to address any variances at all, but.
Well, through the chair, just the reasons, the 4 tests, as well as the subsection of the Planning Act. We just need that on record for your motion.
I will bow to you in your authority. I have dealt with some of these elsewhere, and we only deal with whether it's legal nonconforming in accordance with the Planning Act. We don't go through any variances. But if you want, I'll add the variance. It's appropriate and it's
Just
reasonable.
through the chair, thank you. Just that the subsection is stated, which we have. We've reiterated this section, so that's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is also seeking information from the Deputy Secretary here. Madam, please guide us. It's a 100-year-old building. Could it be falling into the heritage division where it requires a little bit consideration whether it is heritage or not?
Through the chair, we don't have this identified as heritage.
Say that again.
So through the chair, we don't have this listed as a heritage property, or we don't have any comments from Heritage Services on this site.
Okay, thank you.
So to recap, thank you, Mr. Khan. Member Macaulay has put forward a motion to approve this requested permission under subsection 45 sub 2 sub 1 sub I of the Planning Act. Do I have a second? Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Chair. I will second the motion. I will also comment that we heard from the applicant the use of this premise, as to his best of his knowledge, has not changed and has always remained as a residential dwelling. As well, I think based on looking at Google Map and the surrounding neighborhood, the application is desirable for appropriate development of the subject property, and the application will not result in undue adverse impacts on the surrounding properties and neighborhood. Thank you. I believe so, yes, and I think we would like to make it tied to, subject to the Metrolinx condition as well.
And that's a very good point, and it was confirmed by Ms. Macaulay in her motion. So all those in favor of this being approved with conditions from Metrolinx? Okay. No, okay. So that's 4 approving and 1 dissenter, which is Mr. Khan. Thank you. Motion approved. Thank you, folks. We'll be right with you. We're just doing a little house cleaning. Yeah. Okay, we're just going to take an inventory here. What matter are you here on, miss? What matter are you here on today? 14? What matter, sir, madam? 11, thank you. You, sir? 15. and 9. 9, thank you. Okay, we're going to do 9 next, so that's good. And and then 11. Okay, we'll get rolling on that then. So item number 9, 271 Victoria Park Avenue. And this is for purpose of the application to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling with a secondary suite in the basement, front basement walkout, front porch, and rear ground floor deck. Also to permit an undersized parking space in the front yard. The existing 1.5-story detached dwelling and deck will be demolished. Are you the agent or applicant, sir?
I am the applicant. The agent will be online. I'm just here to support and answer any questions or clarifications that you may have, but the agent will be handling the presentation.
Okay, we'll get to you in a second. I will note on this file, there are conditions from urban forestry, recommendations from community planning, written correspondence of 2 letters of concern, and of course, the 1 registered speaker. Can you identify yourself with your first? Sorry, we're just going to make sure your phones are off for this emergency bulletin that's going off. I guess somebody's missing. Okay, so we got our phones off. First and last name and address, please.
Sure. My name is Aryan Nejabat, and the address is 97 Birkinshaw Crescent.
Okay, thank you, sir. Amended application, revised variants 10 to improve front yard soft landscaping.
Through the chair, the agent had submitted materials to amend their application to revise that variance. So to the agent, if you could please state for the record that you are amending variance 10 and the numbers.
Nafish, you have been unmuted.
Hello, Nafish, you're unmuted. Are you there? Nafish, you're showing online. There may be a technical issue on your end.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you. So I was
Good afternoon.
Yes, I was outlining your revised materials. If you could please state for the committee which variants you have amended and what the new dimensions are.
Yes, my name is Nafisa Zangiabadi. I'm the agent. My address is 30 Apple Orchard Path, Thornhill. And we're making changes to variance number 10 as per staff recommendation. Front yard landscaping to be 55.11%, 22.69 square meter.
Thank you. That was very clear and concise. Appreciated. Committee, does anyone have any questions? Yeah. Do you want to give us a brief presentation about this amendment?
Sure. Oh, just this amendment?
Sorry, the application overall.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. So the application is to construct a new 2-story dwelling. We're asking for variances, but we try to keep the overall design footprint and massing within the character of the neighborhood. If you can pull up my presentation material, you can see that the properties which are highlighted in gray are similar to our massing and footprint. Are in a very close proximity. In fact, one of them is our immediate neighbor. And then if you go to the other page, you can see other houses in the neighborhood that have the same design, same massing and footprint, and they're all 2-story. So the FSI also going to be similar to ours. And if you go to next page, I have pulled up the records. These are the similar houses in the neighborhood. And if you go to the next page, I have the numbers with the committee decisions as for coverage. 225 Victoria Park Avenue, 297 Victoria Park, 393 Victoria, 53 Winston, and 55 Winston. They're actually, most of them have higher coverage than ours. And if you see our next door immediate neighbor in terms of length, even though we're asking for FSI and coverage variance, we try to keep to comply with the other requirements of the bylaw in terms of setback and length. So there's no side yard setback variance, there's no rear yard setback, there's no front yard setback variance, there's no length variance. In fact, we are less than 17 meters, we are at 16.39. And we only have the depth variance. And the reason for that is we had to push the building back in order to preserve the front tree. After a few back and forth with urban forestry, they recommended doing this to minimize the injury to the front yard healthy tree. And since the depth is measured from the average established grade average of the neighbors, that's why our length number is more. Whereas the actual physical length of the building is 16.39. So if you go to the next page, you can see there's no overall height in the actual physical length of the building. Exact same as neighbors and other houses in the neighborhood. And there's also no height variance. There's no overall height, and main wall height complies in almost 90% of the building. There's only one small architectural feature at the front that is causing the main wall height variance. And that's the only one which has no adverse effect on the neighbors. So you can see our overall footprint and height is within the borderline character of the neighborhood. And there's also the variance of the front yard landscaping. We have a walkout at the front, and the reason is that since the setback on the side are too narrow, it's going to be hard for the tenants to go to the back and have an access to the basement unit from the back of the building. So we decided to have the walkout at the front, but that was causing a soft landscaping issue. And after our communication with community planning, we decided to make the walkout smaller, added more green space to the front yard, and also the community did transportation to finalize the front yard parking length. They're okay with that. Also planning, we're okay with 55%. So we're increasing that front yard soft landscaping as I stated. The other variances are just very nominal and no effect on the overall massive. So I believe this application it fits within the character of the neighborhood. It meets the 4 tests, and we have the support from the planning. We have the support from transportation. We have also submitted an arborist report for the trees to the urban forestry, and they're also reviewing it. Everything is done. Payment is done. And as for the front parking, also you can see it's the pattern of the neighborhood. Everyone parks in the front, and that's why transportation, we're okay with that variance. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you, sir. I will be asking question on 3 variances. We have 12 variances in front of us. And my concern is variance number 2, 6, and 10 and 11. Number 10, I would like to have the clarification that you changed it at the proposal
Yes.
of the staff to 55.11.
Yes.
Thank you, madam. And now my question is high density and massing. Variance number 2, lot coverage, you are exceeding to 45.97%. And 6 is FSI, 0.95
Yes.
times the lot area, very high. Number 11, rear deck encroachment, 2.72, and as against on the south it is 0.71, and required is 1.82. This is very concerning, not minor.
Okay, as for the coverage, as I stated in my presentation, we are not exceeding the limits on the neighborhood. If you go on the third page of the presentation, I have actually pulled up the decisions of the committee for the approved coverage in the area, and also added the pictures. Next page. This one. So we're at 45%, and you can see the coverages that have been approved in the neighborhood are within the same rate. So we're not going over what is approved, and we are not going exactly same as our immediate neighbor. It's not that we are proposing something out of proportion for this lot. And these are all two-story houses, so their FSR are going to be similar to ours as well. So we are within the character of the neighborhood. And we try to keep the length and setback and height and everything within the bylaw, so this doesn't affect the neighbors and the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khan.
And then you ask for the deck. The deck actually doesn't have any effect on the rear yard as well. We are keeping the 50% landscaping. Neighbors were okay with the deck, but if the owners agree, I can reduce that. It's not a big deal. We can reduce that.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Do we have any questions from committee? Follow? Okay, comment. We're going to now hear from the speaker in front of us. Sir, you have up to 5 minutes.
Oh, sorry, I was just here for any clarifications or concerns with regard to the application. I think the agent did a very good job. I just would like to highlight that we've tried our best to work with both urban forestry as well as community planning to make revisions and modifications to our design to try and meet the characteristics of the neighborhood. I think there's a nice slide that shows kind of our back and forth communication and trying to really preserve the trees and character of the neighborhood and really want to make everybody happy with the design of the house. So I just wanted to give a little bit of clarity and context that we're really trying our best to help satisfy all the parties involved, and we're more than willing to help and compromise with anybody involved. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Is there anyone online, Deputy Treasurer, that I'm missing?
Through the chair, the speaker is in person. They're listed in person. Yes, if we could have you come up to the podium, please.
Thank you for coming today. First and last name and your address, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Melanie Mitchell. I live at 273 Victoria Park Avenue, directly north of the subject property. Whereas I'm pretty much on board with this property. I like the property. I like what the gentleman is doing. I do have some subsequent concerns, primarily regarding the trees on the property. The tree and urban planning, the subsequent tree declaration incorrectly states that no trees will be removed as part of the proposal. The photographs, the survey, and the site plan clearly show an existing tree 0.8 meters in diameter in the middle of the building of the dwelling. The tree appears to be in good order and quite healthy. I just don't understand how that has kind of been missed. My other concern is the trees within my property, which border directly on the property line, especially in the backyard. I just really would like urban forestry to be aware that this issue is there, and that whereas Aaron has been delightful to work with, I am concerned about the root balls of these trees, especially one is over 100 years old. And if the building is getting a basement, I'm afraid that it's going to impact and destroy the tree. Lastly, the thing of concern for me is the windows on the north side of the property. I have skylights in my property. And whereas I would support the gentleman having windows in his rooms, I really don't want, it's a privacy issue. I really don't want somebody being able to look directly into my bedroom every morning. And primarily, that's all I have of concern, and really everything I have to say. As I've said, I support this build. I'm looking forward to the build and having something next door that's something nice to look at. Thank you for your time.
Just a quick question. The 100-year-old tree, is that the maple?
No, it's a white pine,
That's that one, okay. I just wanted to
and
differentiate.
the other two are large cedar trees in the backyard.
Yeah, all very lovely trees. I'm just going to look left and right. Does anyone have a question? Okay, thank you for your
Okay.
information and presentation. The agent slash applicant has an opportunity to address the concern of this person. Would you like to do that?
Yes, thank you for your comments. Just to clarify, the updated tree declaration form has been uploaded after we talked to Urban Forestry and we obtained an arborist report. So yes, one tree is being removed, the one right in the middle of the property. That's right in the middle. So for any construction that needs to be removed, Urban Forestry had no objections to that. And also no other trees will be removed. The one in the front, we have been going back and forth for months with Urban Forestry to save that. And as for her comments for the basement and the walkout and the porch, we came to the conclusion with Urban Forestry to have sonotube as the foundation in order to minimize the damage. So we are very concerned for that tree as well. We did our best to keep it. We pushed the building back. We're going for sonotube for the foundation and some part of the landscaping design just to keep that. So we have the concern for that tree, and we are doing our best with back and forth with the Urban Forestry to keep that. And the neighbor's tree are also aware on the arborist report. Urban Forestry is aware of that. I can assure that they're looking into that. And arborist report has been submitted and is online if you take a look. Then there was an issue of the privacy. On that side, we don't have a setback issue, so there's no variance for that wall. But I understand the concern for the window, but that's a bedroom, so it has to have a window based on building code. There's nothing we can do. But if maybe we can just reach decision with the owner to just have some privacy screen or something for the window if they agree. But as I said, this is not a variance for us at this stage.
Thank you. I think at this point, we're going to go into the Committee of Adjustment committee. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Chair.
Blinds in front of the window to cover it.
I want to raise a comment. I share my colleague, Mr. Khan's concern about the lot coverage. I note ARU regulation 299-19, I believe, permits 2 additional units being built up to 45% of the permitted lot coverage. And here we have 45.97%. Not a lot, but it does go above and beyond what the regulation requires. So my question to the applicant is there a way you could reduce that number down to 45? Thank you.
Just give me one moment. We are at 40.49. Yes, we can. Yes.
Are you prepared to amend the application for variance 2 to state 45%?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are amending variance number 2 to be 45%.
Okay, thank you. It's good to hear. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. So at this point, we have heard from all the parties. We're going to go into committee, and we'll discuss this now. I'm going to ask Mr. Howe to lead us off, if that's okay. Go ahead, Eric.
Thank you, Chair. We do, for this application, we do have 12 variances, but on review and as amended application, the applicant agreed to amend variance 2 to 45%, as well as variance 10 to 55.11%. So on those bases, the variances as a whole appears minor and meets the fourth test of the Planning Act. We have heard from community planning with no objections. And variance 9, the variance where community planning had concerns, was also addressed. And transportation review also had no objections to variance 9 and 12. On those basis, I move approval of this application.
Through the chair to member Howe, community planning also had a condition regarding permeable paving. Are you including that in your motion or not?
Yes, subject to community planning's condition for equal paving and urban forestry conditions.
Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. Thank you, Mr. Howe. We have a motion by Mr. Howe to approve this application as the applicant has amended variances 2 and 10. And we would also, if I heard Mr. Howe correctly, follow the recommendations of community planning and conditions of urban forestry, of course. Do we have someone to second that? Ms. McCauley.
I'll second that motion.
Ms. McCauley seconds it. All those in favor? And that's unanimous. Approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving now to item number 11. (25) Lyndale Road. The purpose of the application to legalize and maintain an increased dwelling height and length, as well as an oversized rear third-story platform constructed beyond the building permit for the 3-story detached dwelling with a front covered porch, rear ground floor patio, rear third-story deck, construction near completion. Cross-reference previous minor variance decision A019723SC. Just looking at this quickly, we have conditions from, of course, my apologies, ravine and natural features protection. And that being said, for us in the room, we have the applicants. Thank you. And do we have anyone online? Okay. Before I ask you for your presentation, I just want to look at committee canvas. Does anyone need a full presentation? Just questions? This committee is satisfied with what you've submitted to us. I hope you hear what I'm saying. We would like to ask you some questions instead of hearing a presentation. How do you feel about that?
Sounds good.
Good.
And through the chair, sorry to interject, we do actually have their agent online.
Oh, we do have the agent?
These are the homeowners, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, thank you for that information. I wasn't aware of that, so that's good. So just for the record, can you identify yourself and your address, first of all?
It's Kimberly and Jeffrey Quinlan, and the residence is 25 Lyndale. We are currently living at 38 Andale, just one street away, in a rental property.
Okay, and the agents on standby are actually live with us, because I'll, right now. Okay, let's have the agent identify themselves and their address, and then we'll proceed.
Timothy, it's Will Hudson, the architect. I'm just here in support of my clients who are before you right now.
Okay, thank you. You're doing a wonderful job. Sit tight, and the committee's going to ask some questions. Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks for your letter. I think that was helpful in understanding the context. I understand mistakes happen with contractors and such, but the variance number 2, that seems quite high. Can you or your agent talk to that? And what happened in relation to that? The side exterior main walls.
Will, do you want to can you speak to that?
Yeah, although it superficially seems like a huge jump from the drawings that were reviewed and approved originally, it largely has to do with the way that the 3rd floor with the flat roof at the rear is being reviewed. And I actually think the zoning examiner took a bit of a different view from the original zoning examiner, where we got initial approval at our original C of A for, call it the soffit, for the main part of the house. But I think on re-review, this C of A application, they deemed it to be the rear portion and the third floor. So it does look like a big jump, but in material terms, the massing of the house is very, very similar to the one that was approved, 3 years ago.
Okay. Is it maybe because there's a roof over that balcony on the rear yard now, the rear side?
No, we always had a roof. That little rear deck on the third floor did get bigger, and it is subject to one of the variances, but I don't believe that's why the examiner changed the exterior sidewall height. And I did ask them about it because it was a big jump, and I'm still struggling after 15 years to understand where the sidewall height is deemed to be. And the pairing. So I did verify it. The examiner was solid in their view of it, so I had to go along with it.
Okay, I hear you. Thanks.
Can I add to that? Just to say that in the interest of good relations with the neighbors, because we are intending to raise our family there for years to come, we've spoken with the neighbors on each side about this and have their firm approval, and they want us to just go ahead and get it done so that we can move in and we can all continue with our lives. So they are well aware and don't have objections.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Anyone on this committee have a question? Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was looking for the thing, but anyhow, I would like to have the applicant help me out. South elevation, which is rear elevation, what is the height? It is illegible. I tried my best. I couldn't find the height.
I believe it's 9.59 meters. Say that again, sir? 9.59 meters.
But I would ask this elevation to be projected so that you can see it is not possible for any good eyes to read what is the height. Because my real question is based on height. So you are saying 9.97?
No, it was 9.59 meters.
9.5.
The
Okay.
front. Oh, sorry.
Okay, now this is the elevation, south elevation. Could you read the height for me?
Can I read the height? Oh, no, sorry, I can't read it from here.
I can't read anything on the screen, actually.
They can't read it because it's too blurry.
That is what I mean.
Yeah,
So there, I can see it now. The line to the far right is the overall elevation of the back of the house.
Now, my question is, with due respect to yourself, thank you very much. Sir, my question is, going back to after determining the height, going back to the real question is, oversized platform, third story.
So you're referring to the balcony on the third floor,
So
I think.
the height is within 10 meters.
Yeah, I think the rear height is 9.59 meters, but maybe Will can answer. I'm not sure I'm understanding the question.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I can jump in.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
when we originally filed for our original C of A, the height limit was different, and part of the reason that we got 3 stories in a neighborhood that then didn't really like or approve 3 stories is that we maintained we never had a variance for height, and at the time it was 9 meters, so it was a trade-off. You got 3 stories, they weren't very tall each level, but we stayed beneath the limit. I believe that's changed, but the crux of it is that we had initial approval for a structure that was less than 9 meters, and the one before you today is 9.59 or plus or minus 2 feet higher than it was originally approved for.
Sir, my next question is, you had order to comply on January 30th, 25, and then you had stop work order on March 13th. What is the status of these orders now?
Well,
Firmly in place.
Pardon me?
they're currently in place, so no work is
They're
happening on the
firmly in
site.
place. We can't, yeah.
Sorry, so to clarify, you're complying with them.
Yes, no work has been done on the property in that time.
Okay, and that's on the record. Thank you.
Anyhow, it is still not complied. So how can you proceed without a stop work order?
The conditions of the stop work order, I believe, were to have drawings redone of
The
the as
stop
like
work
as
order,
built.
sir, I think is hanged on or our decision, committee's decision. And then
We have
you will produce it to the building department, right?
that is
Or you
Correct.
already have completed?
no. I think we're confused. We have stopped once we received the stop work order. We stopped work immediately and have not resumed work yet as of now.
Yeah, and we had new drawings done, and we booked or we applied to your committee.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Thank you, folks. If there's another question, make sure you keep your face close to the mic, please. Mr. Howe, anybody? Ms. McCauley? No. And we don't have anybody. Okay, we're going to go into committee. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Thanks. I understand that sometimes this happens during construction, that the contractor has missed something, and I think what is being proposed here versus what was previously approved is kind of minor. There's the one variance regarding the rear main wall height that looks large, but I understand that sometimes different zoning examiners look at things differently. The design hasn't materially changed, so I can see no impacts of what we're seeing now versus what was previously approved that would be worse. So I move approval of the application subject to Urban Forestry 1.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. We have a motion to approve, subject to urban forestry condition. Ms. McCauley?
I'll second the motion.
Ms. McCauley seconds it. All those in favor? And that's for approval, and Mr. Khan dissents. Thank you. The motion approved.
And through the chair, just to clarify for the record, the urban forestry condition is technically ravine and natural feature protection.
Correct, I misspoke. It is that.
Thank you. That's my fault.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are now at item 12, 449 Lawson Road. Which is a purpose of the application to permit an increase in the interior office space of the existing dental office within the existing two-story dwelling. There will be no exterior alterations. We have nothing in my data sheet regarding correspondence, speakers, recommendations, or approvals. So I'm assuming there's an applicant or agent here or online.
Through the chair, we have the agent online.
Good afternoon, agent.
Yes, hi.
Could you give us your full
Hi,
name and
Mr.
address?
Chair. Yeah, my name is Joseph Tabry. I'm the dentist operator working at 449 Lawson Road. I'll give you basically what I'm asking for are the two main variances, which is the increase of the usable space of 25 to 35%, and also the increase in the number of employees. I'll give you a brief history, if I may. This dental office was established in 1986, at a time when accessibility was not a problem. I bought it over in 1989, and I have kept the same footprint ever since. You can imagine that after all these years, my patients that were in their 50s and 60s are now more in their 70s, 80s, and some are in their 90s. So mobility is a problem for some of them, if not impossible. Asking for the increase in the space will give me the ability to maybe add one more room on ground level so that people, those who are not very mobile, can go straight to the office, from ground level rather than going down the stairs to the basement office. So that's one item. And the other item is for the employees. As you know, back in 1986, dentists may have been able to work on his own with one employee, but these days, the sophisticated equipment, the strict requirements from the Ministry of Health for sterilization and packaging, that by itself requires a dedicated employee. So that's why I'm asking for an increase in the number of employees. So I just want to make it brief and straightforward.
And you accomplished that. Thank you, sir. Let's see if Ms. McCauley, then Mr. Khan, then Mr. Howe. Go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Having just gone through a new dentist office, I was at that dentist for 20-odd years. He's had to upgrade, make larger, more equipment. I fully understand this. I don't see any issues with this. I'm prepared to recommend it after committee has given the rest of their comments.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you, sir. My question is, number of parking for employees and patient, that is not a variance in front of us, but that is one of my concern. If you have been operating, operational for this clinic for so long, what is the number of parking there now once you increase?
Yes. Sure. I have, first of all, I have my parking inside the garage, and I also have 4 parking spots. I do ask the patients to park on the driveway, but most of them prefer to park across the street where there's a plaza. There's 2 plazas across the street, and I have an understanding with shoppers because I do all my prescription with shoppers to allow parking on the premises, basically.
Now,
but they're welcome to park on the driveway.
Sir, with due respect, if I may ask, these 2 people who will be living full time, are they pediodontist or what kind of people these are?
No, I'm a general practitioner. I'm not a specialist. It's a small office.
So what kind of these people
so
are?
it's a house on the one side, that's a north facing, that's a residential. And on the other side, which is the east side, is the commercial entry to the patients.
So these 2 people who will be living full time or working full time, who are they?
Yes.
Are they professional?
I have a long-term assistant that is actually, her husband drops her off. She doesn't commute. Her husband drops her off. And I have my wife helping me out as well.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Howe, go ahead. You're good. Okay. We're going into committee now to discuss this, so sit tight, sir, and we'll get back to you. So now we're in committee. Ms. McCauley, would you like to lead us off?
Yes, this looks like a very minor variance. It's appropriate that things change over the time. There's no negative impacts that I can see, and therefore, and there's no conditions. Therefore, I recommend approval.
Thank you. Mr. Reed?
Thanks. I'll second that. And also just to the agent or the applicant, that was the materials that you sent, the letter and the photos were helpful in understanding. So thanks for that.
Yes, thank you. We have Ms. McCauley move to approve the application, and we have Mr. Reed seconded. All those in favor? And it's unanimous. Motion passed. Thank you, sir. We are at item 14, I believe. Yeah, okay. Item 14 is 54 Bondgate Court, Toronto. Purpose of the application to alter the existing 2-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear basement extension and walkout. rear one-story addition and rear ground floor deck. Note, this application was previously deferred at the Committee of Adjustment hearing on November 13th, 2024. A lady has taken the podium. Are you the applicant?
I'm the applicant, sir, and I'm the homeowner. My name is Jane Parstrom, 54 Bondgate Court.
Okay, 1 second. And anybody online?
Through the chair, there are no registered speakers for this item.
Okay, very good. And I will add that there are conditions of approval from community planning. But having said that, committee members, do we need a full presentation? And I'm getting the no, which means the package that you've submitted is very thorough. We've read it. We understand it. Is there anything briefly you'd like to add outside of your package that you've submitted to us?
No, sir. No, sir. I think what I submitted, that's all I'm asking.
Okay. There may be some questions, so hold tight.
Okay.
Do we have any questions for the applicant? Okay, we're going to go into committee. We don't have any questions for you, but thank you for waiting.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Oh, hold on. We have a question. Sorry. A motion. Mr. Khan, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Motion through you, sir. Two variances, and they have been amended, 18.64 to 18.5. And variance number 2, the depth is amended to 20.5 instead of 20.05. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
With that amendment, I will move that the application be approved.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Do we have a seconder? Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Chair. I move, I second the motion. I would just note we have two variances before us, and community planning has no objection, but has a condition to tie it to the site plan. On review, the application looks minor and meets the 4 test of the Planning Act. Therefore, I second the motion. Thanks.
Through the chair, so is the motion amended to include the community planning condition or not?
Yeah, that's right.
So if I've heard everything correctly, thank you, Deputy Treasurer. We have a motion by Mr. Khan to approve the application subject to community planning conditions, seconded by Mr. Howe. All those in favor? That's unanimous. Motion passed. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we're at item 15, and you're here for 15? Yes, sir. And what's your status in this matter?
I'm the owner of the property, sir.
Okay, come on down, please. Do you need an interpreter?
No, he's the agent, sir. No. I'm just supporting him.
Okay. Thank you. Just want to make it clear so we know who everybody is. And just checking in with the Deputy Treasurer, we don't have, I believe, anybody online.
Through the chair, no, there are no registered speakers for this item.
Thank you. Hi, sir. Thank you for your patience today. Your
No
full
problem.
name and your address?
Sir, my name is Arup Kumar Das. I'm the owner of the property. My property address is 56 FALMOUTH Avenue, Scarborough.
Okay. So do us a favor, because my hearing's not great. Make sure you speak slowly into the mic. Okay. Now I'm just going to ask the committee if they want a full presentation.
Okay.
I'm just going to, yeah. So we do not require a full presentation because of what you've submitted is very thorough. Having said that, is there anything you'd like to add to what we already know?
No, sir. That's fine.
Let's see if there's any questions.
Okay.
Okay. There's no questions. Sir, you can just relax, and we're going to go into committee now and make a decision.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So now we're in committee, and would you like to, Mr. Khan, would you like to lead us?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The 3 variances in front of us, and is extending undersized parking, proposed multi-tenant, and it was deferred on December 4, 2024, and then January 16, 2025. And these 3 variances in front of us are related to transport services. And their recommendation is the refusal of all three. And therefore, in their letter of January 9th, 2025. So that is what has been recommended by the Transport Service, and that is in front of us, the refusal. Yes. No, the one I have is January 9th, 2025.
To the chair, I believe there's no recommendation of approval by Transportation Review. If we could pull up the April 29th letter, which states Transportation has no objection to variances 1, 2, and 3.
We're just having the member have a quick look here.
Through the chair, it's also highlighted in yellow on the screen, the conclusion from the transportation report that transportation does not object to variance number 1, 2, and 3. So no objections or conditions, just advisory comments from Transportation Services.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes. In that case, my motion will be to approve the application.
We have a motion from Mr. Khan to approve this application. And I look to Mr. Reed.
I'm happy to second that, Chair.
And Mr. Reed has seconded it. All those in favor? And it's a unanimous motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. We're at 1:40. Sorry, go ahead, Ms. McCauley. So we are at 1:40. We have how many items left? Just
So we're done. So through the chair, we are completed
completed
the
all.
morning agenda,
so we'll take.
and we can take the lunch break so we can reconvene back at 2:15 p.m. for the afternoon session. Okay. Yep. Through the chair, everyone mute their microphones and turn off their cameras, please. Thank you.